All right, ladies and gents, welcome to a best of 5 between Liereyy, TaToH, and King of the Desert. Both of these players have one win under their belts in the group stage. Not sure if you guys have been paying too close attention, but players love to pick crazy colors, so we're going to have to make some changes because this is just too difficult to see. So Liereyy, we're going to put on blue, and we're going to put TaToH on red. It's not that I want to do those colors, it's that players, they tend to go for colors which just don't make a whole lot of sense for casting. So we have TaToH in the red playing as the Burgundians. And then we have Liereyy in the blue playing as the Khmer. There is a Civ draft. I'm going to show you that whole thing here today. But I had a little rough time getting things started. So hopefully everyone in the chat, hopefully everyone who might be watching this on YouTube later are excited and ready to go. Real quick, as for my upload schedule, because a lot of people have been asking about this on YouTube, I will be uploading the rest of the group stage, everything I cast from the group stage. As far as I know, I actually I'm going to miss some of the quarterfinals, but then the semis and finals will all be live. Hopefully, I'll be able to cast with Mem, the host. We tried to do that this morning, but technology did not allow it. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into trying to get all the cameras and all the feeds and everything into everything online, and it just wasn't working this morning. So Liereyy comes in here as the favorite, and Liereyy, he's just a beast. He is the reigning champion of King of the Desert. He's so good on open maps. And he's gone for a Civ here, which doesn't necessarily jump out at me as a Liereyy civilization. Typically, Liereyy, he likes that barracks. He likes to make the barracks, make the archer range. He doesn't need to make the barracks if he wants the archer range, which I guess is good. This is not to say that Liereyy can't go for scouts either, which I think he's building up towards, but Khmer, I'm really liking the trend that people are rating this highly on an open map because they've got so many cute little bonuses for it. Again, they don't have to build the barracks before they make their stable or archery range. You can hop inside of houses if you want to. And there goes Liereyy on the way to the next age. All right, now here in the red, we've got Tatito Dorito. TaToH's playing Burgundians, and he already has the wood upgrade. The difference here is that TaToH can research his eco upgrades one age earlier. And there's not really that much you can do about it. It just gets a little tricky. Even while it's discounted, it's a little tricky to be able to research the castle age ones and make military. So that, for me, is going to be the difference, is how much military the players are going to be able to make, and Lierey's going to have a head start there. Here's TaToH's scout. He saw the lumber camp. So that alone and confirming, okay, this has been walled in, should tell him to lumber camp is probably a scout build for Liereyy. And for Liereyy, he doesn't know exactly where TaToH is yet. He does see the gold. He at least confirmed that TaToH won't have anything on gold. But yeah, looks like this will be scouts. And I think the approach from TaToH has to be more defensive here. So if anyone's going to play into defensive spearmen, probably would be TaToH. He's got to fix this. He just got the timing wrong there. He was trying to chop wood before the lumber camp was complete. Of course, there won't be any spearmen for Liereyy. That's kind of like the weakness of Khmer in some ways, is that they won't be able to make spearmen if they go up this fast to make scouts. But you've got to keep a close eye on things if you're TaToH. I think he spotted that scout run through, so he's a little worried about it. And yeah, anyways, the people here in the stream, good morning. Yeah, sorry, no coffee this morning. Rolled out of bed, was like, I have an hour and 20 minutes to get things set up. Started to test my camera, started to get my coffee, and then they were like, hey, we need you right now. And I was like, oh, nothing's working. We had no time to test. This is really bad. So that's kind of where we're at, and happy to be casting here this morning. George, we didn't really change much, but I don't know. Just let me know if it becomes a constant thing on Discord. Because what we did make a change to is recording in higher quality while also streaming at the same quality. All right. Ensberg, honestly, my focus is primarily on solo casting. I have not done any high-level solo casting in quite a bit. I know you guys like co-casters, but I really feel my sweet spot is to be able to analyze at least Arabia games solo, though bringing in a caster can make things exciting at times, so we'll see, all right? So Liereyy with the runaround. Lierey's been able to see everything, so there's no surprises here in this game. There's no trickery. It's all about execution. And TaToH also has the wood upgrade in, right? So he's got the wood upgrade and the farm upgrade. He's going to have the farms coming out. He's got real good eco, and I think the thing that bothers me of a TaToH situation right now is that I think a wall off here and a wall off here would be the most ideal. Granted, his gold is still exposed. You can see he's kind of thinking about locking down that backside. Would have been too risky, of course, to send a villager out just yet. And still Liereyy looking around. And back at home for Liereyy, he's got 2 more scouts, about to be 3 more scouts. And he's doing the same thing. Seems to be having issues with this villager anyways. Like, this villager's supposed to be on the lumber camp. TaToH should be able to get the walls down there. And he's going for the Castle Age farm upgrade as well. Now, this is rare with the Burgundians. This is rare because it's not really something that pays off all that much. Like, horsecollar already gives you so much food already. I'm very surprised to see that. I forget the wood cost associated with it. I know it is discounted, but typically you're seeing players get the Castle Age wood upgrade, but not the farm upgrade. If you think of the total farm numbers, looks like Liereyy is ahead, and Liereyy has horsecollar, which is that feudal age upgrade. So we'll see what his food count looks like. And Liereyy realizes there's spearmen out here, so it makes sense for him to go to gold. Oh, takes a hit there. But yeah, off the gold, he's going to add a range. Again, like, that is open there. It's a very weird situation for him. It's not an issue right now. And so what you want in TaToH's position is you want a few hits with your spears on Lierey's scouts, so then your scouts will hold more weight. And if your scouts hold more weight, you're going to have the food eco, and then you can hopefully use those scouts against any archers. I actually think TaToH's position is really good right now because it would be different if Liereyy were to go archers and spearmen. Right? If Liereyy goes like 3 archers, 2 spearmen, that is pretty strong against any mass scouts. But if there's no spearmen in there, 3 archers are just not going to do enough against the amount of scouts that TaToH could send forward. But there's another group here, and quick kill from Liereyy. Well done. Distracted that whole army. Now TaToH has to go damage control on this side. Still see if he can do that. It's like he successfully defended that for now. He successfully pushes this away. But great job from Liereyy. But the Burgundian, sadly, you're just not taking as much control. But if you're able to play defensive, you can take some really good fights. And there's a good fight for TaToH as... Hold on a second. It was weird how it sped up like that. Also, good hits for TaToH there. So yeah, I think the next scenario for TaToH is he needs to get that gold. And so what I normally like to see in these situations, he's got a decent amount of scouts. I think the blacksmith into an upgrade would make sense with this number. Could consider the forging upgrade, because with forging, Liereyy losing a scout and a half there. Yeah, with the forging upgrade, it benefits the spearmen you have out, and it also will benefit your scouts. TaToH has to be careful there. It looks like he notices there's a hole there. And Liereyy getting bloodlines now, so he did add the range, but he never really moved out with archers. He went for bloodlines instead, and I actually like that move. Because bloodlines with the extra HP is going to give you just enough to be able to fight off those spearmen a little easily. Or a little easier, I guess. And then we've got the market there for TaToH. TaToH's still trying to defend. Now TaToH sees the archer. And again, I think TaToH undermade scouts here a little bit, but he is going to see the spearmen. He does dive in to hit the spearmen. Now, like, the spears that he has do so little to these scouts if they're fighting 1 or 2 together. So you've got to have more than that. Remember, with the recent patch, houses have less armor now. So it's not like a fully built house is really going to get destroyed by scouts. But it's the unbuilt houses that are really the problem. TaToH has pulled quite a few villagers here, but he is doing a good job. He's patrolling here to catch reinforcements. So he realizes he's not going to take much damage here. He towered the gold. He's probably also going to sell some wood or use the market a little bit to get up. And Liereyy sending more archers forward. Okay, this is approaching the point, though, where Liereyy still have an insane force. He's bringing half his scouts back so his reinforcements don't get caught off. He knows how important that is. Lierey's uptime will still be really solid. He's transitioning to a double mining camp, so this will be somewhat of an all-in Castle Age for him. Yeah, this is my morning voice, exactly. And it feels like there could easily be holes in this situation if the Palisades go down. But yeah, I just love how both players have played this. TaToH's on the way up. Lierey's still with a lot of army to work with, though. It's not like Lierey's going to be up way faster. Or it's not like TaToH's going to be up way faster. And Liereyy, I think, could maybe run through there. TaToH just bought a tower. This is... If there's a hole there, it's game over, right? There's no hole. He's going to buy a tower, but that tower doesn't even fully protect the wood line. Now, what Burgundians can do, and we probably won't see it, is get the Imperial Age wood upgrade in the next stage. I don't think it's worth it. I think you already have the eco upgrades you want to work with for now. It is double stable for TaToH, so he needs to get himself out of this disadvantage here, and he's going to have to push out with Cav, which he will be able to afford. This Civ does get Cavalier available in the Castle Age. They don't get bloodlines, so it's a little tricky. And the bright side is he's going to at least have some time to get that research in before Liereyy is alongside him in the next stage. Also, TaToH realizes I'm not going to have the stone for town centers anyways. So he adds stone walls. I really like that. If you need stone, just buy it back later. You have a lot on gold. Ooh, Liereyy could lose this villager. TaToH probably isn't expecting it to be here. Okay, it'll go into the house now. And I love how Liereyy plays, man. Like, I would get so punished by this. But Liereyy just does not wall at all in early game. And then when he realizes it's important to wall up in a more creative fashion later on. And that villager will go down. Liereyy will lose him. And now it's 1-1 in the KD. Overall KD 3-1. Nothing too crazy. Liereyy could actually have been ranging this gold with his archer. Sitting here, he could have ranged the gold this entire time. I think he might regret that, but I can understand why he thought he would maybe be able to break in on the other side. Now, Monastery is the first thing I think both should do, but definitely Liereyy. There's a lot of scouts out for Liereyy, so maybe TaToH would think to avoid the monks, but he's got one. Spearmen are pretty useless at this stage, and we see the light cav upgrade for Liereyy. And I said all in for Liereyy with this amount on gold, but Liereyy could honestly boom with this as well. He's got to focus on the military, of course, as TaToH kills another villager, and this is the problem with playing open. Great job, TaToH, but if he can get like 2 or 3 more to wood so he can consistently reseed his farms, then I could see him going for a second TC at some point. Nice little clear there, but Cavalier will be in for TaToH. So I feel like in some ways TaToH is in the better position. He's killed villagers. He has the better eco upgrades. And he's on Cavalier. Granted, this is still super open and exposed. You've got this gold to worry about and this gold to worry about long term. Cavalier have 12 base attack, but because there's no bloodlines, it takes him to 120 HP. So a lot of people are used to seeing that Cavalier have 140 HP, because usually when someone goes Cavalier, they have bloodlines. But that's not the case with this Civ, which is obviously good, because then they'd be too strong in Castle Age. TaToH's going to camp that relic with the scout, which is freaking cool, man. I like that. Like the small little details. And looks to me like he's going to snag this relic as well. So good scouting on the relics, almost like he's Lithuanians right now. And, you know, it just kind of feels like Liereyy doesn't know what to do against TaToH now. He's sitting at home and waiting. And that's not the type of gameplay you like to see from Liereyy. Lierey's normally the one forcing the issue. Liereyy can't make camels with commerce. So, I mean, some camels would be good, obviously, if you could make them. But he cannot do that. And that 12 base attack, man, these villagers are going to go down so quickly. Liereyy can react. Liereyy could lose both monks here. And he realizes that, and he tries to hop inside the town center. TaToH's so good here. And he's playing so well with his small numbers. Here he reacts as well. He goes in for a fight. That has to be a conversion. It's not a conversion because monks aren't fair. And TaToH, I mean, it's not the end of the world. He still gets some hits. Over here, you've got the light cav. And the light cav from Liereyy ended up killing the monk. And then here we have the Cavalier back in, and Liereyy, whoop, into the house. Good stuff here, man. This is a good game. 65 pot versus 69. The military numbers are higher for Liereyy, but I feel like it's deceiving because crossbow without bodkin arrow are just useless. Like that does very little. You could maybe see these. The crossbows will be useful if we see Cavalier and Pikemen from TaToH, which is potential. Or the crossbow will be useful against monks, but I don't see the crossbows really making a difference in the like knight v knight engagements. That said, TaToH has to be careful. He's peeling off so much of his army to go for raids. He does not have enough at home right now. And with his gold forward, I mean, that could end the game if you're off of gold for long enough. Oh, no way there's a hole there. There is a hole there. The Cavalier go in on both sides. So Lierey's focused here. TaToH runs away. TaToH runs in here and kills 2 villagers, and he can run right on home. Now, he does not have the military to defend, though. Again, he's being greedy, so he's pulled the monk away. He's going for the relic, but he needs conversions here. And TaToH is now without gold, working his way towards another relic, but he needed those monks in the mix. We could honestly see 3 conversions for Liereyy. We have to pay attention to this. He's going to get 0. I said 3 because these 2 are still honing in for conversions. But now Liereyy, and I wish I had my voice here this morning, is going to lose more villagers. So TaToH's off of his gold. Liereyy has no wood. What a weird scenario this is. And honestly, guys, I feel like what you would want to have right now is you'd want to have food and gold. Obviously, if you don't have wood, then you're not going to have food long term. But the fact that you have food and gold means that you can make more knights of your Liereyy. For TaToH, if you don't have gold, there's not much you can do here except sell some of your wood, hope to get gold, and it's going to be really tough to catch up in these numbers now. This is good, though. I like how active he is, and he has 12 more villagers, so this is really weird. Okay, I think what makes sense for TaToH, and he's about to do it, is try and take this gold. And then you can let these knights dive because you're probably going to have a monk or two. Let the knights dive. You can deal with them with your cavalier. He's got a monk actually next to his woodline. I'm not sure if he's aware of that. This is not what Liereyy wants. I think what Liereyy wants is he wants to snowball this to victory. This is not going to do that. So he runs in. He runs around. They'll kill a few vills. Here you have the cavalier engaging. And cavalier maybe not quite enough just yet. But with this group, TaToH might be able to do it. Guys, look at the army value. It's so close. That is the cost of the army. The percentage is the gold cost. But you also have to remember that the crossbows are going to do 1 damage to the cavalier. So, oh wait, no, they're going to do 2 damage actually. Because TaToH went for +2 attack instead of going for +2 armor, which could be a throw. He takes his fight, and the crossbows actually got more value than they would normally get. And this is a fight that I think Liereyy will come out of winning. Very weird to me to not see the +2 armor. I think the crossbows would have been useless then. But here comes the cavalier. TaToH was expecting this, so he wants to go get the monks, and he doesn't get a single kill on the monks. He loses 3 cavalier, 2 go over to Lierey's side. And TaToH does have gold right now, but man, oh man, he needs to keep it here, guys. This is so close. I think Liereyy should be forcing fights. I like this from Liereyy. He's going to peel off 2 knights just to check the gold. TaToH's going to make an outpost to keep an eye on that. Full on 1 TC, tons of aggression from both players, and this is exactly what we wanted when we loaded up our computers today. TaToH's gold is absolutely awful, man, whereas Lierey's is on the back. Granted, he did wall it in as well. TaToH able to thwart that, but this is going to be so tricky. I think it might just come down to the monks, to be honest. To the monks and the upgrades, because Lierey's going to have all the upgrades, whereas TaToH's going to be missing the final armor upgrade. Better start for TaToH. Oh my god, this is a really good start for TaToH. I think both players are going to end up getting conversions. But TaToH will have the hill. Plus he has mainly cavalier. Yeah, that's good for TaToH. He can still get another conversion, and he does. He'll clear up the monks. Liereyy will probably dive to clear up his monks too. TaToH with 10 additional villagers. This is such a close game. And even in this fight, it's really close, right? But I think it shouldn't be if TaToH continues to take the fight in even numbers. And now you're hoping that your upgrades pay off if you're Liereyy. The monk's going to go down. The upgrades are not paying off for Liereyy, as we will see a conversion. Maybe 2 if Liereyy doesn't run away, and Liereyy has to run away. And now, after some craziness, I think I can definitively say TaToH has the lead. Like, it was so close. But, you know, it was so good from him to sell a bit of wood and then realize the situation, go over to the other gold. I have to say, Liereyy has a knack for coming back in these types of situations. And he can do to TaToH what TaToH did to him. Just split up small groups now. You're behind in the main army, but split off small groups. He kills the villager there, but now he has to react to this. With a few monks, he can defend at home for now. The real issue is that he's behind in vills, and he's behind in control. So you really need to be, even if you're not getting a lot of kills, forcing reactions from TaToH. And to do that, you have to do exactly what he's doing right now, and you just have to shake it up. You no longer are going with those main army fights. You have to split it up. TaToH hasn't walled, and now you punish him. And these things have iron casting, so the villagers are going down. This is good. At the same time, what can happen is TaToH can maybe overextend at home. Here, Liereyy has to react. When I said overextend at home, I clearly meant overextend at Lierey's home. Great job from Liereyy. Oh my god, that was so good. So good. He didn't take any additional losses. I don't know how. He still has to protect himself. It's still not great at home, but now look at the vill count, and TaToH is at 50, and Lierey's at 50. Unfortunately, though, the army difference is there for TaToH. Liereyy lost a lot of knights to be able to accomplish this. I believe that was the correct move for Liereyy, but TaToH made him pay the price. And TaToH's like, okay, you're not going to fight my army anymore? Well, then good. I'm going to kill your eco. And Liereyy calls the GG. It's pretty crazy to see someone lose 10 villagers and then win the game, but that's essentially what happened here. And TaToH, with Burgundians and that defensive style, was able to win this game. Now, I'm trying to think about what made the difference here, and I think Liereyy could have been in Castle Age faster if he didn't add the archers. Think back to what the archers accomplished. Granted, they did get a little more value with the 13 crossbows in the center. Still ended up losing the fight. But he went archers when the opponent was going spearmen. Now, this is where it gets complex, right? Because that is obviously the correct play. You want to counter spearmen in feudal, you need to make archers. But I think TaToH was only using those things defensively, and he just wanted to buy time till he could set up his walls. So, like, there was never a world where Liereyy is going to break through to TaToH's base easily. The archers didn't really benefit. And the reason I'm being, like, so nitpicky over just an archer range and a few archers is because an archer range is 175 wood. So if you look at the uptimes, and you keep in mind that TaToH had to invest resources into the eco upgrades, which obviously worked. But if you look at the uptimes, a 21-minute castle time could have been a 20-minute castle time if you made 3 farms instead of the archer range. Also, you could make an argument he could have skipped bloodlines as well, which I think was fine. Yeah, that's the only difference I could really see in that game. It was super close. Anyways, good start for TaToH. The way it works in King of the Desert, and I'll see if I can maybe show you guys Liquipedia real quick before the next game starts. But the way it works is there's group stage. So it's Swiss stage groups. Liereyy beat his opponent and TaToH beat his opponent. So winner here moves on out of the group with a good placing in the main bracket. Well, it looks like they started the next game. So I won't have time to really look over things too much. But yeah, that's the gist. Good start for TaToH. I would have said Liereyy 3-1 today. But TaToH, I think, is such a fun player. And I wouldn't think it's even fair to say he's underrated. I think he's well rated. But it's just that everyone seems to favor Liereyy on Arabia more than, like, anyone that exists. So that's where the issues come in. And here we have it. I got to switch scenes for y'all, but we should be fine. So yeah, apologies for the colors. We're going to keep it consistent. I think it makes sense to have the same colors as game number 1. Thank God we can change it. And now we've got Liereyy in the east of the map playing as the Huns. And then you've got TaToH over towards the west. All right, so the gold positions were definitely a big topic of conversation in game 1. TaToH ended up winning with that more forward gold. This map generated a lot more wood lines. So if you're unaware, basically in King of the Desert, what they did was they have like 3 different versions of King of the Desert Arabia within King of the Desert Arabia. Now, my biggest gripe is the pawns are inconsistent, and this is not all coming from a game I played the other day where both my back wood lines were pawns like this. So that kind of sucks for TaToH, but he's got plenty of wood. I'm just nitpicking. He's got plenty of wood. I'm genuinely still... So, like, that's the only thing that pisses me off about the map, truthfully. I guess it's fair. Okay, it's fair in this one. Never mind. I'll shut up. But yeah, so basically this one generated more wood lines than some of the other ones. The one thing that is consistent is it's still relatively open, and you've got a lot of elevation to work with. So, overall, when I look at the bases, I would say I prefer TaToH's because TaToH has... He doesn't have an immediate forward resource next to hills. Whereas Liereyy has his berries there. But let's talk about their bonuses. So Indians, I think the thing that makes Indians solid in 1v1s is actually the thing that no one talks about, and that's the cheaper vills. Their vills are really cheap in Dark Age, and it just gets cheaper throughout the rest of the ages. So he's going to go 4 on wood here. And if I had to guess, Lierey's going to go back to his roots. He's going to open with a Drush or Man-at-Arms and go into Archers. Yeah, really cheap vills means you can up to the next stage a little earlier. Means you can afford more upgrades and more military. And then you have to think about their camels long term. And then normally it's like camels. They go hussars, just like the Huns can do. I'm actually looking at Liereyy. Liereyy is Huns, excuse me. TaToH's the one who's Indians. But yeah, just trying to think through some of the bonuses. Now, for the Huns, so I guess we'll look back over at Liereyy to make it less confusing. Camels aren't that terrifying against you in the mid game if you haven't already fallen behind. Because as we've seen, if you get to enough cav archers, you're able to take out knights. And a knight with full armor has 4 pierce armor in Castle Age, okay? A camel from Indians with full armor has 3 pierce armor. So yes, Indians have additional pierce armor. Yes, their camels are tankier, but they're still worse than knights, and they cannot make knights against archers. So that's where it gets tricky. Now, if TaToH gets the lead, and it's something like 5 or 6 camels against 5 or 6 cav archers, then yes. At that point, you know, the Indian player is favored. Especially if the Indian player adds TCs, because they can afford to produce a bunch of vills. Yeah, so I think TaToH's going to do a similar thing and eventually wall up. Just protect part of the back area of his base. I like that. Actually, still at home. 6 minutes. He pushed in 2 zebra. Interesting to me that he's still at home. It's like he thinks he's missing resources, but this is definitely a little greedy from TaToH. Normally, players are going to scout a little earlier. As you see, Lierey's already on the way to TaToH. And Lierey's got a barracks up right now. That's true, though. Indians do have a shorefish bonus, or in this case, a box turtle bonus. So it's like, oh yeah, Indians OP, man. But it is somewhat realistic that he might place a TC over in this area at some point. Ooh, and Lierey's scout hits the town center. And that's a really bad one, too, because he saw the stragglers. But what he was probably looking for, a lot of players take these little carpets for granted, and they look for the carpets. They rely on them. And he didn't see a carpet on that side. It's the only side that didn't have a carpet, and so now his starting scout is weak, which will hurt him. And Lierey is going for a drush, if you haven't picked up on that. He's making the militia, and he wants to get some damage in here, but he doesn't... Oh, man. He doesn't know the full situation here. He does not know that TaToH's going to try a wall off over here. If TaToH can get this wall off down and Lierey travels that way, it could be a big concern. Like, Lierey does know where the berries are, so I guess he's going to end up going that direction. That's normally your target area. But when you see that lumberjacks are down the hill, sometimes you think you can get some vill picks there. All right. There we have the barracks. There's the goats. That's probably why TaToH stayed at home. TaToH will see the militia now. And he's just going to quickly wall this up to protect himself. I feel like the TC will not range this tile here. So it's not worth garrisoning. He now has to go for damage control. And this is all Lierey wants. Lierey just wants to get a little bit of pressure forward. He wants to make it so TaToH cannot do what he wants to do as easily. And obviously, if he kills the villager, that'd be great. Like, this villager here could die. TaToH's going to move him, which is smart thinking. TaToH's scout now is a feudal age scout, so it can pack some punches. Or pack a punch. Again, getting warmed up here this morning. But yeah, this is close enough to the TC where I don't think a villager will ever go down. I think TaToH will be fine. But what Lierey has done is he's made it so TaToH can't pressure him right now. And there's a lot of villagers that aren't working right now because of this. So, I mean, this is what the old-fashioned drushes were meant to do, is simply control the game. There was a time where I'd say, oh yeah, you're never going to kill a vill, but it's just to control the game. Nowadays, people are killing villagers with drushes. Yeah, we're going to have the scouts coming out for TaToH, and I think this is fine for Lierey. Back at home, Lierey can do whatever he pleases with his eco. He's got that wonderful double lumber camp eco. He's got a few on golds. And there's a possibility he might go for man-at-arms here. So what normally happens with this type of a play is by the time you get man-at-arms, they have 3 scouts. Now, TaToH's stable was idle because he had to pull off of berries, so he wasn't able to get the scouts out as quickly. But typically, you're in a spot where you're considering taking a fight against these things before they're upgraded. Lierey is not allowed that to happen. And now, as the 3rd scout just comes out, and I really have to sneeze. Fair warning. Allergies. This is not the time. Yeah, but now TaToH probably has to wait to the 4th or the 5th scout. And Lierey will probably go spearmen, archers. Forcing TaToH into a range, typically. But I guess what's good is that it's hard for the spearmen archers to meet up with the man-at-arms. I think Lierey will realize this, but what TaToH will do is he'll happily pull some villagers to fight with this. Yep. And then Lierey will realize it and just run away. And yeah, so the idea here is that you have more units attacking the man-at-arms. So that's the first aspect. But I think the most important aspect is the men-at-arms are not always going to hit the scouts. The men-at-arms are going to hit the villagers, and you're never going to lose one there. So if you would have taken that fight straight up, he probably would have lost an additional scout. Yeah, TaToH's got to foresee this from Liereyy. He doesn't even know where Liereyy is. So I think he has to foresee that there's going to be some archers coming out across the map. And there's the range now. I like that. At the same time, this is just like... It feels like it's so late, right? With 14 minutes. Liereyy loves to do the Spearman Archer play off of Man-at-Arms. Which means that you have the Spearman Archers there about 2 minutes faster. At this point, I mean, even if Fletching's in, I guess a villager could go down. But it feels like this is just a little late. Granted, it is Liereyy, and TaToH's still playing very greedy here. He does not know that the army's there yet. Here he comes with a counterattack, and at home, Lierey's got some archers, and TaToH might be able to kill the villager. TaToH goes in for the villager. I was surprised. I think what happened was he was reacting here at the same time, which is why he ended up diving there. Liereyy is the king of getting value with small armies as he takes out the gate, and he's going to move in. And there's only one skirmisher, and you've got like 4 villagers walling over here. TaToH is distracted, and TaToH will lose a vill. TaToH loses that villager. He ends up bringing his scouts back. That might be the end of it. But well played, Liereyy, there. Yeah, that will be the end of it. On the bright side, though, if you're TaToH, your villagers are so cheap with Indians, you don't really need to worry as much about it. And he is going to clear this. Just don't take unnecessary hits. Oh, God. Oh, God. What's happening? All right, I take it back. I think we're good for Liereyy now. Now, my concern for Liereyy is that he's investing into a build where you stay in feudal age for a while with a lot of army. Okay? So the concern is, because army's not necessarily bad, the concern is that his whole army can be countered by skirms. And the TaToH has had horse collar off a scout build. So this type of a build, at least when I see it, typically players will go to the next age and they'll get horse collar because your castle age time is going to be something like 22 minutes at the fastest off this. Which means at a certain point your farms start to expire. So it seems like a small thing. Again, I've got a nitpick at high level Age of Empires. It's just, again, not normally a build you see. If it's man-at-arms into 1 range or 2 range archers, then you normally are skipping horse collar because of the timing. This pond is going to help out Liereyy. Oh my goodness, dude. There's ponds. Ponds are so good for range units to run into, but I think it's fine, right? You're going to have these units run over here. Also, I said 22 minutes. Lierey's macro has been impeccable. Don't ask me how he's floating that many resources right now. Yeah, you see Fletching on the way, and what Lierey's going to do here is he's going to make TaToH chase him this way. And then, oh, he's going to fight it, actually. Well, okay. Well, he's going to end up losing most of these. Never mind. I think the better play there for Liereyy is to run around this way, and if TaToH tries to cut him off, then just double back. But okay, he realizes his army will die. And now he's got to add a stable, and this is where it gets tricky because you probably want a knight or 2 to deal with any elite skirms, but you don't want to make a lot of knights when the opponent has a stable and the opponent can make camels. All right, Coffee90 says, please don't have amazing games in the next 30-40 minutes. Too late, buddy. This is going to be one of the best sets of the day. We have this set, and then we have Doubt vs. Yo. I think Doubt vs. Yo is probably going to be the second best set of the day. But here's where it gets so fun, right? Because yes, camels can counter your knights, but crossbows can counter the camels. As we talked about before, camels with Indians have additional pierce armor than regular camels, but they're still camels. Trying to think of an example. It's like, well, I'm old now, so I actually like vegetables more than I used to. But if like I was casting to a bunch of 12-year-olds, I'd be like, yeah, you could put cheese with broccoli, but it's still broccoli. That would be my really weird analogy. But I actually love cheese with broccoli, and I like regular broccoli now, so not saying I eat it. I think you guys know what I mean. All right. Skirms piecing out here. And TaToH's approach has been very defensive all around, right? He's got a lot more walls. He's especially investing into house walls. But I don't think this means that he can just boom. It feels like his skirm count is dangerously low. And Liereyy knowing that this can't really damage him, he's going to go for tons of crossbowmen. Also, by the way, thank you very much to Rue. Thank you for the sub. Thanks to everyone who showed up here today. I'm feeling better than I was in game number 1. Yep, immediately you should be clicking +2 armor. Okay, so you have +2 armor on the way. And TaToH knows. TaToH knows he can't deal with that army with just camels, so he's going to go for siege as well. It's actually rather interesting because he's also collecting stone here. So I guess he had stone wall there. He just wants to recoup that stone cost. But he didn't stonewall this, which is so awkward. And Lierey's going to force the issue right away. And guys, this is going to be incredible for Liereyy. This isn't really an issue. This should probably get dealt with. You do have the mangonel on the way, but Liereyy is always going to run right past that. How many crossbows is this right now? He's got 19 crossbows. He's got 14 here. More than enough to be able to take out siege if you're Liereyy. And it forces TaToH completely off of his wood lines. And even if you don't kill any vills, granted, you do want to kill vills here if you're Liereyy. You're feeling pretty good. But, oh, I like this from TaToH. Look at that. He plugs the gap. He doesn't plug the gap. He now plugs the gap. And that's so that Knight can't get in here. Great job from TaToH not to take any more losses. And that Knight honestly just needs one little hit on that mangonel to help out. Because the crossbows can maybe do the rest of the job. The 24 army, more army on the way. And you see Liereyy not going for cav archers. I think he realizes that cav archers could be kind of a bad thing against the Indians. Because Indians could counter that well with camels. And thank God for TaToH, he's got a market, right? Because if he didn't have a market right now, he'd be screwed. Holy. I just love the patience from Liereyy. Lierey's on 2 TCs, by the way. So Lierey's going to have villagers coming out of 2 town centers. And just constantly trying to pressure here. But TaToH is defended pretty well, though. Again, he sees this. He tracks it in. He's going to shoot. He's going to get a big hit. And his mangonel will also stay up. So I think what Lierey's going to try and do is pull this army over here where more crossbows can get hits. But another split for Liereyy and another shot for TaToH. It's honestly at a point where maybe these camels could just consider engaging. I think TaToH can comfortably move back to his wood lines. He's not comfortably, but he has made it look comfortable in defense. And, you know, there's a worry right now, if you're Liereyy, that this could get out of hand with the army count. Yep, TaToH ends up engaging. Liereyy is going to lose his army. And now, suddenly, it's 10 army versus 20. And TaToH, if he wants to, will probably buy some wood here at a TC somewhere. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. Also needs to get villagers off of gold. So what I would do is I'd buy 100 wood. I'd drop a TC here with my gold villagers. Because you already have too much on gold. What? TaToH! Okay, whatever. He's TaToH. I can't really sit here and pretend that I can understand a man of this. There we go. Okay, that's better. Man of this caliber. All right, so Liereyy did a good job, I would say, despite not getting any villager kills. And now he's going to show up to this wood line, and he is going to get those kills. So TaToH's distracted over here. TaToH's like, I'm taking a good fight. He's not microing. And Lierey's like, I'm taking a good fight. He's not microing. Anytime you see someone making a quote-unquote mistake, it is typically because they're doing something good on the other side. And that's what happened there. Good move from TaToH, though. I think he's got to relocate his wood. That's just going to be too annoying. And what the? Lierey's got villagers streaming for. What? Wait, what? You know what I think that was, guys? I think that was a waypoint bug with his TC. Or a mistake. I think he accidentally set a waypoint forward with his town center. Because he's probably cycling through his town centers and telling them what to do in cycling through his archer ranges. There's still a villager there. I don't even think he knows about it. There's no way you'd ever go siege workshop against someone going camel. Because siege doesn't really counter camels. So I think that's just a mistake. When DE first came out, Viper was having a lot of issues with that, where his TC waypoints would be set forward. I don't know exactly like what the bug was. It could have also just been players moving too fast. And anyways, it's not something you see from Liereyy every day. Villager's still there. And he's like, what? He's going to send the villager back home or something. But yeah, that's a correct call. Typically, if you see 1 or 2 villagers forward, you're going to see it for a siege push. But at this time, it just, and the way they were moving, just did not make a ton of sense to me. Is Liereyy going to go fast imp like he has Arbalest right now? You see how he's playing this? Liereyy is playing this like he's the Vikings. High food count, high gold count, making crossbows. But the thing is, Huns don't get Arbalest. So you could get Bracer and Chemistry, and maybe Liereyy could make it work, but it feels very weird to play it like this if you don't get Arbalest. I think he wants to make a university here. Oh, Siege Workshop, okay. There's still a gap there, but he wants to maybe protect that area. God, this is such a Liereyy thing. This is so silly, man. This is so silly. He's literally sitting at home, camping behind eco to go fast imp, or not fast imp, but imp, with a civ that doesn't get Arbalest. Like, what? I think what you should do is I think you should go pikeman with crossbow. That's what I think the play is here. If you've got like 10 to 20 pikemen alongside your crossbow, then you're good. But he's not going to do that. He's like, well, siege is good against pikemen too, so... Which is true. Not to mention, there's other things you could do if you're TaToH, like maybe mix in your own cav archers. Make some skirms. And TaToH's just not expecting this. So here's what's crazy about it. It might actually work because Bracer and Chemistry means these crossbows will destroy Castle Age camels. There's no question. The problem is there's siege out here for TaToH, so the siege and the camels could destroy the crossbows before they're upgraded. Also, the other problem is when one of your 3 TCs is imping this early, you only have 2 TCs creating vills, whereas TaToH, for the time being, has 3 TCs creating vills. And with Indians, you almost always see a 4th TC as well, so he could have a big vill lead, TaToH. Okay, you see some casual palisade walling here for Liereyy. He's going to add a market to balance out his eco. Now he's going to add the barracks. Yeah, I like it a lot more now that I'm seeing the barracks, but I don't think his eco is going to be good enough to be able to get Bracer, Chemistry, and Help. But I could be wrong, because I guess he doesn't have to spend the res on Arbalest like you would normally. Okay, TaToH has to be careful here. There's one mangonel for Liereyy, and that mangonel could get a really big shot, and TaToH's just going to dive for it. TaToH takes it out. TaToH might even dive for the army here. He's got to be real careful here, Liereyy. If you see Liereyy sitting at home like this, I think the knights might confuse you, but you're probably thinking he could be up to imp, and there goes TaToH. And there's the 4th TC. Also, second game in a row where TaToH's getting relics early, so he's got 2. But TaToH will have to fall back against this, and Lierey's already thinking about heading out. This is a really good game. You know what's funny is that blacksmith will go down at the perfect time, I think. No way. Okay, Lierey's making another one. I'm glad he's making another one. But think of the time difference here. He won't have the blacksmith right away. Blacksmith, he's an imp now. The blacksmith is still not up. So he's clicked Chemistry. Here come the crossbows. TaToH's got house walls or stone walls everywhere. That's so good. That is so smart from him. And he's also going to think about light cav right now. Obviously not good against the Halb, but we don't have Halbout yet for Liereyy. Because the way he played this is like Arbalest. He's got a lot of wood and he's got a lot of gold. He doesn't get Arbalest. There's a hole here. It's a very different game. But if TaToH can get this castle up, and if TaToH can wait for Hussar, Indian light cav, Indian Hussar, extremely good against ranged units. As TaToH is worried now. He realizes that house could go down. So he's going to start stonewalling here, and he needs to do that. Good job from Liereyy. Liereyy pulls this army over and sees that. And then, oh, the siege goes down in the middle as well. I don't know how much the siege matters now, to be honest. I think it's more so about the main army comps. As we do have Halberdier now on the way for Liereyy. But TaToH's got this nice little corner here. Good luck threatening his eco. Okay, Liereyy sees the stables going up, so he knows. And what he's thinking is, if I can take this hill from him now, I'm in a good spot. But nope. It's not going to happen. Conscription on the way. It's also worth pointing out that Liereyy did not build up to a castle. This type of play, you never go to stone and early on in the game. So he cannot get conscription, which means his units will create a lot slower than TaToH's. And guys, it just kind of feels like if Liereyy doesn't get more halbs out, that this whole army is going to be cleared here. Now, Indians no longer get the final armor upgrade. If you watched King of the Desert 3, which was like a year and a half ago, or just a lot of tourneys with Indians, they did always have that. They recently changed Indians over the last year. They do not get the final armor upgrade anymore, and that's one of the kickers when it comes to cav units. He also won't have heavy camels. So currently, TaToH only has like 10 hussars, some of which are kind of trapped right now. TaToH getting Bodkin arrow, and I think he's getting Bodkin so his castle can range this. He's got a lot of idols. Lierey's got so much army, and a lot of that is heading forward to that hill. But what does he do with the hill? He has no siege to back this up. You need siege to back up these plays. If you were Ethiopians and you go fast imp, you go bombard cannons then. You can't do that. TaToH says, all right, he can't kill me. I'm just going to let his army sit there, and I'm going to run right into his base. Which, to be honest, Liereyy might be able to defend. Lierey's got a lot of halbs here. But I think TaToH's got to be careful he doesn't lose too many camels. If you lose the hussars, they only cost food. Yeah, back away here. What a game. 180 pop for Liereyy. Now, if TaToH can find this army and clear this, I think his next castle will be on this hill. This is such a crucial area. These are the neutral golds. Especially when TaToH can't take this gold comfortably, that area right there is going to be a perfect castle spot for one of these two players. And now we're going to have Bracer on the way and Ballistic, so TaToH wants to mix in skirms, which I think is perfect. And so we'll probably see Liereyy consider adding a few stables in the future, because he's currently building up towards cav archers with more halbs and TaToH. He doesn't know about this. He has to clear this. Yeah, you've got to clear that army. Lierey's going to try and break in here. TaToH with great damage control. Dude, he's so good with damage control. It's unreal. And now he's got skirms in here. So I'm not sure if Liereyy really wants to pursue this. But I guess for now, he realizes the skirms don't have armor. 160 pop for TaToH, 170 pop for Liereyy. These villagers are somehow wandering, or for some reason wandering over here. That's not going to be good. I don't know. I just think this is going to be a fight where all the crossbows go down, but Lierey's probably taking it because he didn't see the upgrades in yet. And because he knows the crossbows have a very short shelf life at this point. Very weird that TaToH pulled this army away. I think we're going to see Liereyy come over and castle this. It's very odd to me that TaToH pulled the army away. I'm guessing what happened, and I might need to look back at that, is that the cav archers arrived right after they left. Like right after the camels left. Okay. Skirm's still doing fine. Still TaToH waiting for upgrades. They're still doing an okay job. Maybe both players are just going to add additional farms here, but again, TaToH is walled up. Like, TaToH is extremely safe. And we're not seeing any raids. Well, now we are, but we weren't really seeing any raids from Liereyy. So this gets dealt with, and here we have a raid from TaToH. Feels very awkward to see him not with heavy camel. I think heavy camel is going to have to come in soon. So both players trading kills on wood lines. Here come the hussars for the cav archers, and they're not bad. I don't think it's bad to make cav archers with Huns. They're very cheap, but guys, the more this game goes on, the more I think that Liereyy did not play Huns like Huns in going fast imp, right? But yeah, there's an argument to make for faster bracer and chemistry, and then what? If TaToH holds against that, you're completely screwed. I think pikeman crossbow and controlling the hill would have been the play, but he gave up the hills. TaToH is now going to castle the hills, and TaToH is in the driver's seat right now. It's amazing play from TaToH. It's like you talk about Liereyy and how he should have done something different, but then it almost takes away what TaToH has done in this game. He's played so well, man. TaToH historically has usually lost to Liereyy. He's had some really good sets against him. I remember Hidden Cup 3, probably one of the best sets of Hidden Cup history, was Joan the Maid, which was TaToH, against King Alfonso, which was Liereyy. So it has not always been the case, but on Arabia, you just, truthfully, always favor Liereyy, regardless of who he's up against. And TaToH is showing how strong he is, and TaToH is almost at 200 population right now. So now he's going to try and control gold spots. So this castle, it controls his farming eco, mainly. But it also protects that gold spot, this gold spot, and he's got a TC there now. He needs this gold spot secured. There's no hole there. Liereyy looking for openings. And I think TaToH has to be a little careful before heavy camel's in. And he's even mixing in his own cav archers. I like that. I think that's a really good move. You already have the ranged upgrades. If you have the gold for it, go for it. He did just research sultans. And that means your gold income is even faster with Indians. And so the ideal army comp is probably Hussar, Cav Archer, Halb if you're Liereyy. And it's going to be Camel, Hussar, Skirm, maybe even some Cav Archers if you're TaToH. And I just feel like Indians are superior. Especially if they've got relics, which TaToH did a better job of collecting. Especially if they've got the extra golds, which TaToH has done a better job at securing. There's just like, I continue to think back to how Liereyy approached the lead up towards Imp. Yeah, so what's crazy is Hun Cav Archers are cheap, but Indian Cav Archers are actually stronger because they get the final armor. So if you're able to get to even the same composition and go for Halb, Hussar, Cav Archer, the Indian composition is stronger. And look at this! It's going to be a doubt castle. This castle will not complete for Liereyy. So good from TaToH. So many players would just fight on the hill, but he figured, whatever, I can take a fight there and I can split off some army. Look, that is the main stone for Liereyy. The way he played this was all around Arbalest. He didn't think about the castles being up in good spots. His castles are all at home to keep himself alive. They're not in the corners. They're not in crucial hills. These castle spots are a great indication of how Liereyy kind of approached the Imperial Age. He did not expect, or he was hoping to not be in this position. He was hoping the game would have been won with the faster Imp. I don't see how this changes now. I think the Spaniard's going to win this one. There's no way TaToH loses this. He can still take relics. I think he's got a third one on the way back. He does. There's another one here. And there's another one here. So we could get every single relic. Honestly, if I were TaToH, I'd start queuing up those elephant archers, baby. Maybe that would motivate Liereyy. But come on. Can you imagine? To go 2 up over Liereyy and start queuing up elephant archers? Let's go. He has the resources for it. And it's not even that big of a meme. Elephant archers are super tanky, so mixing in a few wouldn't hurt. Oh, God, dude. This is such a Liereyy thing. He's just got a monastery that isn't completed. He's just so many steps behind, he can't even think about the relics right now. TaToH has won this game. Liereyy doesn't want to accept it yet. Lierey's going to play on because he's got 65 farms. But the beginning of the end is... well, no, we're past the beginning of the end. This is over. This is over. No map control. No eco. As Memb would say, total domination from TaToH. This is so good. Now, TaToH just has to be a little careful with the skirms. But honestly, he's using the skirms to focus down the CA. And then his CA are camping the hill. And in the end, he's going to end up better off here anyways, as he has the other army over here. Indians don't get siege ram. I don't think it's needed. He's getting capped ram. And wow, man. Wow. Like, okay, I want to talk about the approach. Granted, Indians are so strong against Huns. And as we hadn't had a chance to look at the draft yet, it should be worth pointing out that TaToH would have wanted this matchup. He was hoping he would have been up against Huns when he picked Indians. That said, I think that 2 things that Liereyy did in this game were incorrect. I think that him going for... well, the main thing that was a mistake was going Imperial Age to benefit crossbows. That was a really big mistake. The Halb was fine, but I think instead, you turn it into a longer Castle Age. Instead of sitting back in Castle Age, you pressure with pikemen and crossbow. You do not allow TaToH to solidify and control his hills. And then you go Imp. Because think of the difference. If you had control and TaToH was sitting back, then suddenly it's a different game. TaToH can't open with Hussar. TaToH has to open with something else. Maybe TaToH doesn't go Imp as fast. Maybe TaToH can't take these 2 forward golds. It's just so weird to me that he would play Huns like a Civ that has Arbalest. It bothers me. But at the same time, if he did what I did, TaToH would have maybe had an answer. it would have been a very close game. TaToH has made every correct play so far. And what I'm especially impressed with is how good he is defensively. He had that one mistake where the crossbow's broken through palisades, but everywhere you look, there's house walls. When there's stone walls needed, he has that too. One tile not being walled up with a house or a stone wall can end games. And TaToH just, like, for the most part, perfect in those areas. And he's so patient as well. Ends the game with 3 relics. Of course, would have had the golds too. Just so good from him. Liereyy maybe wasn't expecting this level from TaToH here today. TaToH wants to move on out of the group. If he wins this, he's in a good position for the main bracket, so it'd be huge for him. I'm going to call it right now, okay? Well, actually, I should keep my mouth shut. Let's see what happens in this series first. They're about to start game 3. They're giving us no time here, so I should probably just hop in. But if there's a countdown at all, I'm going to bring up the draft because I think looking at the draft would be helpful for us. Okay, so I can tell you the next game is going to be Vikings versus TaToH. So Vikings TaToH. Feels like that's a matchup which strictly comes down to how many archer numbers you have in early Castle Age. And that is a situation where Liereyy can actually go fast imp Arbalest. Shocker. Vikings, we're going into a situation where Vikings, in my eyes, are just the better civ, but they are not as well-rounded. If it goes super late, granted, things changed recently. Vikings can go for Berserks more now than they could in the past, but yeah, you know what? I take it back. I don't think Vikings are that stronger, or that much stronger. I think they're a step above, but I think they have some weaknesses, just like my casting has had this morning. All right, so Liereyy changed his color again. TaToH stayed the same, but he's gray, and that doesn't work. Here we go. All right. In the blue, we've got Liereyy playing as the Vikings. In the red, we've got TaToH playing as the TaToH. Game 3. Now, if Liereyy wants to win this, he has to win this game, the next game, and the game after that, which he could do. I think if the roles were reversed, I'd say TaToH couldn't do it, but then TaToH just won 2 straight, so what do I know? Anyways, this is one that comes down to archers. TaToHs have more food on their sheep, so it's a lot easier for them to not have to mix in farms, which means they can typically produce that second range a little faster, get a few archers out. I don't know, the way they approach eco is just a little different. Oh, wrong overlay. My bad. I got you. In Castle Age, of course, if they add more TCs, they get sheep, but I don't even think that is really where this is about. I think the TaToH hill bonus, where they can do more damage when fighting on top of hills and getting Thumb Ring for free in early Castle Age, that's going to be what wins or loses TaToH the game. Because there's hills everywhere on this map. Here, you've got a hill. Next to the gold, you've got a hill. Next to the wood, you've got a hill. Basically, you cannot avoid having an important resource on a hill in King of the Desert. So, while I don't see that making a big impact in the feudal fights, I see that making a huge impact in the Castle Age fights. But on the road to Castle Age, Vikings are the civ that you would want because of free wheelbarrow. And then also when you're in the Castle Age, you're going to have free hand cards. So overall, their economy is a lot stronger. So it feels weird to say Vikings play defensive because they're not going to be like Fat Slob and wall up. But you do just have to be patient with engagements and wait for your eco to kick in. Now, if you think of game 1, we did not see Man-at-Arms into Archers from Liereyy. Think of game 2, we did not see Man-at-Arms into Archers. It was a Drush build that turned into Man-at-Arms. So, will Liereyy finally go Man-at-Arms? Feels very weird to me that a player like Liereyy, who's known for Man-at-Arms into Fast Archers and Feudal, hasn't tried it yet. And Viking Men-at-Arms actually have more HP now in Feudal Age than they did. The devs made some changes to Vikings. Some people feel like it nerfs Vikings. Other people feel like it makes Vikings stronger. We'll see. And TaToH, though, he comes over here to see what Lierey's up to, and he's going to steal some sheep. Where's Lierey's scout? Oh, my... Wait a second. What? It's just not Lierey's day today. Check this out. Oh, my God, guys. He's scouting his base to find his sheep. And they were right there, and he missed them. Oh, God. Oh, God. And TaToH could also be annoying with this. If TaToH spots that, Looks like TaToH missed it. Okay. Well, minus 200 food there, and it's actually plus 300 food to TaToH then if he gets him home, right? Because he gets more food on his sheep with Tatars. TaToH also realizes there's a rhino there. So I'm not sure if Liereyy knows the scout is around, but what TaToH's going to try and do here is hop in front of the Vil and block her, which is so rare nowadays. We do not see it work too frequently, and TaToH, I think, realizes it's not going to work. I think he could have actually done that. Like, if that's MBL, Lierey's villager's dead. Like, 100% that villager's dead. But TaToH just didn't get in front of the Vil, and then he just said, whatever. Let's not do that. Now, this build, to me, does look like Man-at-Arms. We have the barracks on the way at the proper time. And there is a world where maybe TaToH, and he's like doing this today, where he just walls up. Because he could wall here, make a house here, wall this way, this way, this way. I mean, it's a lot of walling, and Palisades are now 3 wood. But if you're expecting Men-at-Arms, I think it's worth it to just full wall and then try and open up into archers. Yeah, Vikings are insane. Vikings are one of the best Arabia civilizations. At least at the high level. I feel like Vikings are probably weaker at low level. And Lierey's now drushing. Wait, what? It bothers me so much to see a player with so much talent not playing to his... He's not playing the game properly. Like, he didn't even scout. He made the militia, and then he sees the walls, and then he says, oh, crap, we can't make more militia. So now he's got one lonely militia in the middle, which delays his feudal age time. I don't know, man. Like, you know when I'm very critical of people who just go with the same build all the time? I'm critical of those players because it's expected, and then they get countered because they're not Liereyy. The thing about Liereyy and Hera and Viper's probably more creative of the 3, it's just like, it doesn't matter what they're going to do. They can open with their best strategy regardless of who they're up against, and they can have success. So it's just very odd to me. Granted, it's easier to be critical when the guy's down 2 games. And I think TaToH's just played this perfectly. I think he obviously was a bit lucky and he benefited from the lane. Now he's going to be 45 seconds faster to getting his range up. Liereyy, not sure why the game sped up there, is just going to run through here. I mean, there's potential he could kill a Vil, but I'd say it's highly unlikely. He is annoying TaToH. And TaToH's got his scout here. So that's worth something. Villagers are not actually mining gold right now. And, oh, good fight there for TaToH. Really good fight here for TaToH, actually. Okay. It's still probably worth it for Liereyy, though. It really sucks losing your scout. But at least TaToH hasn't been taking the gold just yet. And TaToH's going to go for a range. He's going to go for the mining camp. Now TaToH can see what Lierey's up to. But, I mean, Lierey's just going to open archers as well here. All right, so Vikings instantly get wheel. But TaToH still has plenty of food underneath his TC with the Tatar sheep bonus. You do have the hill bonus if you're TaToH as well. So those are the bonuses we're thinking of. We have some walling here from Liereyy, which is not bad. You would never see this walling if TaToH didn't have a weak scout. If it was a full HP scout out, you would not see this walling. Because the scout would definitely pick off that Vil. And TaToH just wants to confirm things. He sees the range. And he's even going to go for Horse Collar now. So it's not the most common thing. But because he has the resources underneath his TC, he can get away with that. And maybe even get away with a blacksmith and archer upgrades. Seems to me right now that TaToH is assuming this is close. So that's something to think about. Who knows if Liereyy will ever go there. But definitely in Castle Age could be an issue. And just going to be one range and a whole lot of eco. Probably not the most exciting game unless TaToH wants to sneak his army. What you sometimes see is you'll see 2 archers sneak off to the side. I think Lierey's just going to sit here. He doesn't have a scout and he's just going to wait for TaToH to show up. TaToH does go double range. Right. Why don't we see more Chinese picks in King of the Desert? Well, we do have Chinese drafted first, I think, for Liereyy. It's just that he didn't use them yet. Also, the other reason you're not seeing Chinese is because King of the Desert has a really big ban list. So I'd have to look, but I think it's 3 global bans. So a lot of players are banning really good civilizations because they don't want the enemy to get them. As for like in my case, I think it's really unwise to ban good civs if you're a good player. I think that you should just ban bad civs. I mean, not necessarily all of them, but that's something that you could consider. And Liereyy has fletching. TaToH does not right now, but both players lose an archer. But TaToH will have more numbers, and now I think Lierey's got to consider a second range. Yep, there we go. Also, he killed the scout. That's nice. So, okay, this isn't too bad for either player, but I'd say it's pretty good for Liereyy right now that he hasn't taken any damage. He's been able to get his walls down. He's got his eco rolling. The problem for him is that TaToH's been on 2 ranges for quite a while, so TaToH's going to have more army. TaToH, though, he's in a position to take the fight. He got fletching just in time. He's now getting armor. And what you don't want to do here is give up this hill, because if you give up the hill to Zatars, as you run away, they're doing more damage against you. Great micro from Liereyy, though. That could have been so much worse as TaToH kills a camel. Whoops. Jeez. T90, did you give a proper goodbye to Vivi? Dude, Vivi's not dead, buddy. He's not dead. If I had $1 for every time someone got emotional and said they were quitting AoE 2 over the last 5 years, I'd be a millionaire, buddy. Granted, I do think I think the reason Vivi doesn't want to play Age 2 as much is just because of other aspects, but he's on my Steam list, buddy. I've talked to him. I actually messaged him the other day and said, I love you, bro. And he said, me love you too, or something. But it was like, I think the language was a little mixed up. Yeah, Vivi said that he's done playing AoE 2, basically. So it's an interesting time right now. Okay, the splits here, the micro from TaToH. Remember, you've got to think about the Viking eco behind this. If TaToH isn't getting considerable trades, which he's not, this is all about the Vikings. Look at those resources for Liereyy. So what TaToH tried to do is outmass and outmicro, and he pretty much got smashed in the proper moments there. Because the second range is now out for Liereyy. He'll never be outproduced, in theory. His eco is insane. He should be clicking up to the next stage faster. I think TaToH might sense this, because you kind of know that Vikings are going to be up around 20, 30, 21 minutes. And we might see TaToH do what he did in the previous games, and we might see him go for a market. Yeah, basically, Vivi said that people within the Chinese community were really harsh on him over the years, and it was really tough for him to deal with it. He also thought he could be #1, and he was never able to live up to his personal expectations. I kind of read the whole thing. It didn't really seem like it was as much of an issue with Age of Empires as it was expectations for himself and people treating him in the past a little harshly if he didn't perform too well, right? And when it comes to believe me, when it comes to having to deal with negativity on the internet, it's not easy and it can be really hurtful. So I think for someone like Vivi, who probably is compared to Mr. Yo all the time, it probably has been really difficult, right? So I can relate. But I think, we'll see what direction the community goes, but the game was always going to be around. I'm sure Vivi, no one stays away from Age of Empires 2 forever. No one. I'm sorry. The amount of people that have retired and come back is just insane. So, even if they're just going to play casually. All right. So, the game slowed down over the last couple minutes. But Lierey's going to be the one in Castle Age a minute faster. And then he's going to get handcart for free. So, he already has wheelbarrow. Now he's going to have handcart. And the army numbers are more than fine here. He will never lose a villager to this. Looks to me like he's going to go for elite skirmisher. Probably end up going for some crossbow as well. And so here he sends the skirms to deal with this. And I wonder if TaToH... Yeah, there it is. I was going to say, I wonder if he goes 3 ranges. Because honestly, this has not worked out for him so far. He wasn't able to do as much damage against Liereyy. He's not going to have the same castle age time. And you know you can't compete with the eco. So I think the only way to win this matchup, if you're TaToH now, is all in. You have to be extremely aggressive. And he's holding to his hill right now. He does get a kill, which is good, because it was right before the upgrades came in for Liereyy. Liereyy gets a kill, though. And TaToH with an interesting tower. I mean, this tower protects his hill, which is what he needs to hold to. God, this is just such a bad position. This is why everyone says Vikings are OP. But you could say that TaToH could have done more, right? You could say he could have gone man-at-arms. He just opened straight archers, which I actually think he opened straight archers because he was expecting man-at-arms. So that's where it gets tricky. Now, a lot of times people forget this, but Elite Skirm is more expensive than Crossbow, and it takes about twice as long to complete. I think Crossbow is 25 seconds or maybe 30 seconds, and it's around 50 seconds for Elite Skirm. So it takes a long time to get Elite Skirm. I think the only thing that Liereyy could really do wrong here is falling behind in Skirm numbers or not mixing in Siege. If he falls behind in numbers, I think he needs to mix in Siege. If he doesn't do that, then he doesn't need to mix in Siege. He's actually getting ballistics right now. So actually, this could end up being the way to do it as well. As TaToH's Elite Skirm wasn't in for most of this fight. He's going to gain the hill here, and both players are going to micro, but this is still looking really good for Liereyy. Look at him dodge the shots. He's fighting uphill against TaToH's. He doesn't care. And even if that's seen as a 50-50 engagement, I think it was actually a little better than that for Liereyy. The eco situation is still far from 50-50. Vikings are superior. It's crazy what you're able to do with Vikings. TaToH can't even afford a second TC because he had a tower. Yeah, honestly, I think this game could be over already. There's the siege, but he's got ballistics as well. How does TaToH break this? So, guys, what they did with Vikings was they removed Thumb Ring. But this game is a perfect example of why that is just not a nerf to what Vikings are good at. Vikings have incredible economy. And typically, people don't even get Thumb Ring and Castle Age with Vikings when they did get it. They would just use the food to go imp. So, I'm not being ultra critical of the devs here, because I understand they felt like Vikings were a little predictable. And they wanted to see Berserks utilized more, so the Vikings had more of a different identity. However, I think if you wanted to change Vikings from what they're already doing, you needed to address their eco in some way. I'm not even saying I have any recommended ideas, but they actually gave their man-at-arms more HP with the recent change. And so Vikings have the potential to even be further ahead than they used to be. Vikings are the perfect explanation from Prath and chat. Vikings are really good if played properly. Yeah, everything goes right, very hard for that civilization to be stopped. Now, what TaToH needs is his own siege now as well. He is working on 3 ranges, though, so I think what he's going to try and do is he's going to try and micro. It's going to be tough with so many skirmishers to be able to micro down siege and enemy skirmishers, but seems to be TaToH's choice. He does have 2 on stone, so I think he's going to go for a second town center. At this point, he's behind by 6 villagers, and he's behind by important eco upgrades. But, you know, not necessarily the end of the world, as Liereyy... I think Lierey's going to dance for us here. I mean, both players are going to dance. TaToH, he's no slouch with micro either. But I think Liereyy realizes that he can be cute right now, because he's doing really well. Good fight here from TaToH, though. He doesn't necessarily kill anything, but I like how it distracts Liereyy. Pulls some of Lierey's army back home. Also, we'll have the skirms going this way. I mean, maybe Lierey's sitting back a little too much here. He might have the luxury to do it. But here he has to abandon this wood line temporarily. He is going to hit TaToH's wood line, though. I don't think TaToH's going to expect that. If you look at TaToH's point of view, he's sending everything forward right now, especially because he probably knows he's behind. I think he's looking for the army. See that? I think he's looking for it. He's not going to expect it here. He'll lose 1. He'll lose 1. There we go. He'll lose 1. He'll lose 1. And just 1. Okay. Liereyy has to back away. I'm really surprised Liereyy isn't on 3 TCs right now. Granted, he did go for a 3rd range. And he did go for siege. But Lierey's style is typically to go 3 TCs. He lost a bit of army there. He's got to be careful. If he doesn't have a proper imp time, and TaToH can overwhelm with Castle Age military, especially having his own siege now, there's still a chance for TaToH. If Liereyy were to lose this game, though, it would be a sign that he's definitely having an off day, because there's no world where he should ever lose this with Vikings. At least that's the way I see it, having seen Liereyy play so frequently with Arbalest civs. Like, at this point, he could even just market and then sell some food and click up to the next stage. Think back to that Hun game and how he played it. He just has to play it the same way, except he actually gets Arbalest here. All right, there he goes. There he goes, and he's on his way to Imp. Now, there's only a 10 villager difference. There's a 7 population difference. There's potential for TaToH to clean up this army if he tracks it, which he's missed out on. And, depending on micro, there's potential for TaToH to clamp down on this army too. TaToH does not split, which Liereyy expects. TaToH gets a good hit. Oh, he doesn't get the hit, but he gets the split. And then Liereyy micros. No way, dude. Oh my god. What in the world was that? TaToH played that so well, and yet he doesn't get a single mangonel kill. And he loses half of those skirmishers. Oof. Holy crap, that was sick. To me, it looked like Liereyy was going to make a mistake. He was going to lose his one mango and maybe lose his second. Again, he saved his crossbows as well, so he's fine there. He's still on the way to Imp. He now has the army lead. He still is the eco lead. It should be over. TaToH's given a really good fight here, but yeah, I just don't think... Now, TaToH's in a weird spot, too, where if he goes Imp, he doesn't get Arbalest, and he can't really afford to switch into Keshik or anything else. Good shot there, though. I like how Lierey's outposting here, because now he knows if the skirms are coming in, and also if TaToH patrols, he patrols into the outposts. I don't know. I wouldn't be taking any big fights here right before Imp. I probably would be a little more patient back on the hill where the crossbows are now. But I think Liereyy wants to drop a castle here. See if TaToH wants to allow that. Man, Liereyy, it's good to see him fighting with his ranged armies again, but he's just playing with fire a little bit, you know? Like, do you really want to be doing all this right before the Imperial Age? Okay, now he's getting bracers, so in 30 seconds he'll have his upgrades. And yeah, I think he'll be fine. The skirms from TaToH do go in back here. Liereyy will probably just queue up his own skirms to deal with that. And that castle means that TaToH can't really push out across the map. TaToH is adding TC number 2. How? I guess Lierey's only been on 2 TCs this whole game. And these skirms are going to go down there. Arbalest army could hit the wood lines. Arbalest army could go so many different areas. And the Arb army can just melt the skirms now. Right? You can't use skirms against Arbs here, because you don't have the upgrades to deal with this anymore. So you might have some numbers here, TaToH. But Liereyy should be fine. TaToH firing, missing. Liereyy splitting, kills everything again. So good from Liereyy. I mean, it's almost not even as exciting as it should be, because Lierey's just so good in those situations. And that's what I'm talking about. Picking an archer civ, going for Arbalest. Liereyy finally gets back to a spot where we know he's good, and he's still got other civs in the bag to be able to use. So, well played. What was so interesting about that game is that I was a little critical of Liereyy for not going men-at-arms, but it just turned into an archer v archer battle anyways, and we saw the power of Vikings. You look at the total resources brought in, there was only a 10 villager difference. Whoa, what's happening? Ah! There's ghosts! What are you doing? Sorry, I don't know why that's happening. They wanted to see the instant replay, apparently. Yeah, there's a big eco difference with every resource, despite there not being a massive build difference, and the army counts were similar. So TaToH needed to use early Castle Age, like we said. TaToH wasn't able to be up as fast. TaToH wasn't able to use early Castle Age, and that's kind of all she wrote. Probably the most boring game right there of the series so far. I mean, it wasn't the best game we're going to see today. It probably wasn't the worst game we're going to see today, but Liereyy doesn't care about that. You want to see APM? Yeah, APM, honestly, there's not really a massive gap there. APM is super weird, though, because, like, look at this. How did Liereyy peak with APM at the first minute? Again, like this is cool, but you guys have to realize with the way the game plays out at times, it doesn't necessarily match the reality, because 230 APM in Dark Age versus whatever this is, like 160 APM in Castle Age, doesn't make any sense. So there's also this weird thing. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, but a lot of players will spam click formations. So MBL is very well known for this. MBL will spam his formation. And I don't know why, but I think he does it because it's just a habit. Because back in the day, clicking the formation a couple times might have done something, or just because he wants to make sure it's working. So if you're doing those things, that also increases your APM. Or if you're using select all TC hotkey to produce villagers, whereas someone will toggle through villagers from multiple TCs, the multiple TC guy will have more APM, if that makes sense. All right, game number 4, Liereyy in the blue playing Chinese. And then we have Franks here for TaToH. I want to talk about Liereyy right away. So the big thing with Chinese is that you start with 6 vills, but you start with 0 food in the bank. So the build that I've seen Liereyy and Nikov do, and probably other players, is that they partially build the first house, and then they pull over to sheep. That way, they don't need to start building their house right at 8 out of 10 pop. You see this? If you didn't partially build the house, you would have had to pull a villager off of food already. So it's fascinating. You don't necessarily have to play Chinese like this. But basically, the next vill will probably go to this house. He's going to finish the house right before he gets pop capped. And now, already, he's basically got a 2-villager lead. And God, I'm on the wrong overlay. I'm so sorry. What's happening here? Hold on. Let me make it so I can see it. It's not going to get any worse today, guys. It'll only get better. Yeah, very clean start for Liereyy. And now you have to start looking at the maps. And with King of the Desert standards, this is actually a pretty good map. Back gold, back berries is fine. So here's the key. Indians, or why am I saying Indians? Chinese, they have cheaper technologies. They have more food on their farms. And they can do everything. They can go scouts, they can go archers, they can go infantry. They're genuinely the most flexible civ on land maps in the game. I don't think there's any other civilization that could maybe beat them at that. Franks, everything about them is about knights and castles. So they've got farming eco. They've got forage eco, so lots of food, which you can use for the stable units. And then they've got really good knights. So there is a world where you can go... And you're going to have to hear me out because this is going to get incredibly complex, okay? There is a world where you can open scouts and then maybe go into archers with Franks. And I wouldn't necessarily mind that because you might want some archers out if the enemy wants to go for camels. But obviously, scout opening is what's expected here. Now, I think a position you don't want to fall into if you're Liereyy is you don't want to fall into a situation where you're just going camels in the mid-game. Because if you're just going camels against knights, there's nothing to stop TaToH from mixing in some monks, but then there's nothing to stop TaToH from going into pikemen. So it's almost like sometimes you need to have a way out of a current line of thinking or a current build. You need to have an easy transition. And so I think it would actually be good for both players if in late feud age they had a range. And then we'll kind of see how it plays out from there. All right. What's wrong with the overlay? Yeah, the overlay is not meant for capture age because nothing is situated properly here. So, all right. George says, you seem off today. Go get your coffee and your water. We will be okay missing a couple minutes in the dark age. Dude, it's 9 a.m., buddy. Well, now it's 10 a.m. Just don't cut me some slack, please. Please don't be too brutal on me, man. It'll be a full day, all right? Sheesh. It's the group stage, people. Nah, I think I'm a little too particular with my own self. I don't think you guys are really having the worst experience, so. Except George. George, I've known you from the Twitch days, buddy. If anyone's going to hold me accountable, it's going to be George. Ooh, TaToH. Oh, man. And he just saw the carpet, too. He was tempted to run this way. And TC would have taken out that scout, which is so huge in this matchup. I notice TaToH has 4 on wood. So he's going to open man-at-arms. And I don't mind that. I think it's an underrated move with Franks. Because people expect scouts, so they won't scout you. Like right now. Lierey's not scouting TaToH. He's just assuming TaToH will go up. and then TaToH's going to go into scouts. And what else is really good is a common thing with Chinese is you play greedy like Liereyy is, and then instead of full walling, you will small wall your resources. So if you small wall your resources here, and then TaToH shows up with scouts, the scouts can't kill anything, right? But if TaToH goes man-at-arms, TaToH can attack the palisade wall and follow it up with an archer, and then suddenly, if Liereyy goes scouts, Liereyy can't fight that. Right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Not to mention that with a man-at-arm build, you normally cannot justify getting the farm upgrade with the wood upgrade. And the man-at-arm upgrade is just too much. So 99% of the time you're not seeing that. With Franks, you actually get the farm upgrade for free. So it's really strong. All right. Chupta, now I don't know who you are, man. Never saw you back in the Twitch days. So Liereyy is going for full wall off, which definitely changes things with what I said about the man-at-arms a second ago. And Liereyy hasn't even scouted TaToH. Just maximum greed, but you can get away with it with Chinese. So Lierey's going to be in feudal age faster. Liereyy has one additional vill, and his techs are cheaper. This is why everyone rates Chinese so highly. And not only that, but he's able to get some feudal age hits in on TaToH's scout, which means that he might even win the scout war. This is huge, man. This is huge. Oh, this is perfect for Liereyy. The greed is paid off. He'll now add a stable. Now TaToH's scout has to run home. On the bright side, though, that means that Liereyy won't be able to see this. There is a gap here. Okay. There's the range for TaToH. You'll typically see the man-at-arm upgrade and then spearman and then an archer. It's tough to know what you want to do if you're TaToH. You don't want to take Liereyy to your base. But you also don't want to lose that scout. And you probably also don't want to show him what you're doing. But he's choosing to do that. And Liereyy, oh, not reacting. And that was interesting. Liereyy losing some HP here. And now the full wall is not going to go off. And then he's going to just have to small wall anyways. Now, this is fine for TaToH. Again, this is where you tend to see... He didn't get the wood upgrade, by the way, which is really bad. That's questionable for me. But this is where you tend to see the spearman and the archer coming forward, and needs to come forward soon. Now, something Liereyy could do is pick off the reinforcements. So if he expects that to be happening, he's going to look for this. Watch this. Oh, this is going to be so sick, man. I think TaToH needs to run home. If TaToH doesn't see his army being chased, I think he needs to go home for the second spear. Oh, there it is, though. Okay. So, yeah, 4 scouts can fight 1 spearman, 1 archer. 3 scouts, it's more questionable. I guess Liereyy doesn't know exactly where it's coming from, does he? Oh, man. I guarantee you he's looking for this. This is what he wanted. And now it's going to be 2 spearmen, an archer, and the man-at-arms all on the back of the base, and you've got a lion attacking the spearman. That sucks. Spearman at home now for TaToH, which is good. TaToH needs to wall here. He's not walling with her. He clicked her to the edge so he could scout the edge, and he didn't place the walls yet. Oh, boy. TaToH should lose a villager there. Maybe 2. We'll see if he reacts. We'll see if Liereyy reacts on the other side, because here comes the archer. It'll be slow death, but it will be death. As TaToH fails to quick wall, and it'll be so much worse for TaToH, I feel. TaToH loses the spear. This villager's also exposed. Liereyy separates from the group with that full HP scout, but he doesn't get the villager kill. And over here at the same time, he could take some losses. This is crazy. Okay, she will end up dying, and Liereyy got another one as well. So Liereyy... Wait a second. Why does it say 1-0? Okay, maybe that was the only one he killed? Meanwhile, over here, you've got some skirms for Liereyy, which is making me feel a little better for his position now. Because he's got enough skirms to take out 1 archer, so Liereyy did the eco damage. Liereyy now has the eco lead, but what's awkward is he doesn't really have a ton of control. But think about how things played out. Liereyy has had all of his eco upgrades. He's at 13 farms. TaToH's at 10. Liereyy has more villagers working. And at the moment, the skirm army that Liereyy has is kind of the strongest army on the map. Like this is never going to do anything. And now I think you just wall up, you go to gold, and you think about Castle Age. And it should be advantage Liereyy there, which means we might even see this game go to game 5. That is, assuming an awful lot. I don't know. Lierey's undermaking army, I think. So maybe TaToH could harass the woodlines. There's a woodline here that could be hit. In fact, there's an overchop. And then there's also the woodline here. Also, 2 of those skirms are rather weak. 4 skirms is probably not enough to threaten 6 archers and the man-at-arms. Yeah, so let's not get too excited just yet. Here comes the army. Lierey's done an awful job of scouting in this game. Losing his scouts hurts him so much. Normally, players are going to have 1 scout just tracking where the enemy armies are. And you're kidding me. At what point is Liereyy going to check this? This has been overchopped for a couple minutes. Okay, now he checks it. But guys, he won't complete the palisades. And this is going to be... This whole army could run right in here. Okay, he does actually complete the palisade wall. And now Liereyy has a chance to react to this and pull away, which is very important. He's going to bring his skirms back. But I think this army could potentially break through. Actually, no. TaToH realizes that there's going to be a quick wall behind. So he just runs away with his army. He probably also expects the skirms to be out there. But what a weird moment that was. But okay, think about the situations. I remember I talked about this in Dark Age. I was getting way ahead of myself, but here we are. If TaToH can keep his archers around and go Archer Knight, Elite Skirm is not going to be that effective against archers because the knights are going to be mixed in. And then Camel will not be as effective against the knights if Liereyy wants to make that because there will be crossbow. Does that make sense? Like, don't just say it makes sense if it doesn't make sense, chat. I want to make sure that you understand this. I guess what I'm saying is opening man-at-arm archer is actually pretty good because it puts the opponent into skirms, which you can kind of counter anyways. And then if you're Franks, you're not in a bad position to counter their camels. I still think Chinese are the superior civ. I still think Chinese should wreck. But it's best case scenario for TaToH. It depends. Okay, thank you, Marcus. Thank you. I was a little surprised that Liereyy created so many skirms. I'm curious if he's going to go second range or second stable here. He's got so much gold and he isn't really spending it right now. TaToH's just going to head home. Happy to do so, as he did sell a little bit of stone, so he didn't sell all of it, but he did sell 100 to be able to go Castle Age this fast. But then, all future technologies are discounted for Chinese. Things just snowball so hard with this civ. Jordan did this as well. Yeah, Jordan was doing that in... wasn't he doing that a lot in Hidden Cup? I didn't actually get to see any of Jordan's games with Franks in King of the Desert yet. But yeah, I did speak to Jordan about it last year and kind of got his thoughts on everything. And I think he had said, for the same reasons, that he likes to make some crossbows with Franks against Chinese. And TaToH's wood situation is really bad if he doesn't have map control. To be fair, it's the same for Liereyy, right? It's the same for both players. So both players have wood lines that can be ranged. And great job here from Liereyy. He's delaying the stable. Just being annoying here. He's not ever going to kill a villager, but... TaToH's got to click this, force this down. He finishes it. And the villagers get back to work. TaToH snuck his army around this way, guys. He ran into his base, and they snuck his army out of his base. He's heading right towards that wood line. Maybe it's too risky, but in an ideal situation, I'd say you'd have a TC on the other side of the wood line to protect it from crossbows. Obviously risky if you don't know where the army is. And I actually think Liereyy expects this, because if he didn't expect the crossbow army to be over here, I don't think he would have pulled all of his villagers to build this TC. And wouldn't you know it, man, TaToH shows up. Man, that's so good from Liereyy. Just a little bit of paranoia is good for you. Wait, what? Did he even see the army there? Hold on a second. Did he see the army for a split second? What? Did you see that? He even repositioned his vills. That's very weird. I mean, it was the correct play if you knew the crossbows were going that way, but he didn't see anything, which is ultra weird to me. The TC being built with 6 villagers makes sense. The reasons I mentioned. But he repositioned the vills thinking the crossbows were there when he didn't see the crossbows were there. That's an extra level of certainty that is very odd. I mean, it was the correct play, but he didn't see a damn thing. Maybe just expected it, man. He's probably played against TaToH too many times. No elite skirm, which I think is good. Again, I think that's the play, and we actually just have straight up knights for Liereyy. Which I also think is really good, because honestly, making camel against a crossbow is bad. So just go for full knight upgrades. And he's going to have plenty of them. There's only 3 knights on the field for TaToH. There's 8 on the field for Liereyy. Really, what TaToH needs is he needs crossbows to kill villagers. Right, so he has the spearman here, Liereyy, so he's waiting to see this, and he see, there it makes sense, right? He sees it. Before he didn't see a damn thing. And now he knows, but now he's on 2 town centers. His eco is incredible. And I think TaToH is just going to be so frustrated he didn't kill any villagers. He's invested so much into this attack. He's also, if you think of the resources he spent on crossbow and bodkin, and if he can't get a good fight with crossbow bodkin with the knights, such an expense that will just not pay off. And how is it ever going to pay off? That's so much army. I don't think this will ever pay off for him. I think Lierey's going to be in the perfect position. After this, Liereyy could always go to a monastery to get conversions. He could get the relics. He could add the 3rd town center. He's got the villager lead. He'll have the army lead after this. Also, using the feudal age skirms. Beautiful, man. And yeah, TaToH just has to cut his losses and peace out of here. Over here, we have TaToH with a crossbow. Liereyy will have to react to that. Power of Chinese, baby. This is 2 straight games where Lierey's gotten to a winning position, and I'm sitting there like, what more can TaToH do? And I think that is as much of a product of the civilizations, Vikings, Chinese, as it is Liereyy, which is why everyone puts Vikings, Chinese in their top 5. They also put Franks in the top 5, but Franks would probably be like number 4 or 5. I think Vikings, Chinese are actually really good civilizations against those civs. And now that the crossbows are gone, you mix in camels. This is perfect. The way Liereyy has played this is so good. It's like he just woke up or something. But also, his number 1 civ pick was Chinese. His number 2 civ pick was Vikings. TaToH's got some number 1 saved up as well. We'll have to see if we end up getting there what happens. Now, mixing in the monks can change things when you're behind in numbers. And TaToH does have 3 monks on the field, soon 4. So that can make a difference. But upgrades can make a difference, and Lierey's going to have all the upgrades. Whereas TaToH has, he doesn't even have any Castle Age upgrades. The Vikings now without Thumbring are not top 5. Oh my god, when people say that, that tilts me. They're better now! They're better, bro! We'll talk about that later. I actually think Vikings are better now than they were before. But you probably didn't hear my cast with Vikings, so you didn't get to hear my explanation, so I apologize for screaming. I know what the devs were thinking. They thought that removing Thumbring would be good. It actually doesn't really affect the stage of the game where they get ahead. So I would disagree. Maybe like they weren't even top 5 before. Maybe they're like top 6 or top 7. But the man-at-arms are actually stronger now. Their eco still is dominant. And no one researched Thumbring to be dominant with Vikings before anyways. So, okay, this could get messy. If Liereyy doesn't get this conversion and then lose... Okay, he gets it. I was going to say, and then loses 3 units over here, it could be a problem. But no, he's got too much. He's got too many upgrades. Liereyy knows it. He's making the TC. TaToH will tap out here. TaToH will lose everything. TaToH will see the 3rd TC going up. He knows there's already the other one over here. So TaToH has to realize this is game over. 94 population versus 70. And how did we get here? TaToH won the first 2 games. He played so well. Liereyy with the meta, guys. Like, Vikings into archers. Chinese into defensive opening. Into scouts and skirms and knights and camels. Just so sick. And Felipe, I can see why you'd say that's a bad fight for TaToH, but he had to take that fight. That's what sucks. So yeah, it looks really bad, but if he didn't take the fight, then he would have definitely lost. So that was his only chance. He didn't... TaToH hasn't had the economy. TaToH has only had 1 town center. So TaToH realized that he had to win that fight, and that's everything he had. So I think even if he gets 3 conversions, it's still a really rough position. So anyways, let's take a look. KD 53 to 28 for Liereyy. Economically, he had more wood, he had more food. TaToH had more golds. But that is a big, big lead with food for Liereyy. Big, big lead with military. And obviously, he would have been on stone and gold as well. So just didn't work out for TaToH. And I think the position where you have to have success with Franks in this matchup is with the man-at-arm archer play. And having to loop the whole way around just took so much time. So he didn't do any damage to Liereyy. And then Liereyy had killed a vill. And like, Chinese are already up 2 villagers on you. So if you lose a villager, you're going to be really far behind. It's tricky though, man. Like, Chinese are just so tough against the Franks. It is not the matchup you would want. There's so many other civs you'd want against Chinese. Like, you would prefer to have Celts against Chinese. Yes, Celts are not as well-rounded. Yes, Celts are probably not as good as Civ in most cases. But I think Franks going into Knights, it just feels so awkward. Maybe Slavs, like any good Pike Siege Civ could be the Civ to break Chinese, possibly. Anyways, scores 2-2, guys. And we're fighting to see who moves on out of the group. So we have game number 5, people. Game number 5 here. Best of 5, Liereyy TaToH. And holy crap, this is like Black Forest. I mentioned earlier how there's 3 different gens that King of the Desert has. Look how closed off this is. This is crazy. You can make a house here to protect the full front of your base. This is so easy to wall. It's almost too clumped up, though, because your berries, if you wall up, will still be exposed to archers. All your wood lines will be exposed to archers. I don't know. Now, over here, it's the same thing. TaToH's got a very back gold. He's got a forward berries, but it's just very closed off. Really, honestly, it doesn't thrill me. This match, and like these wood lines on the front, I feel like it's too much. My liking. So, doesn't matter to the players. They've got to play it, and if anything, it means they can be a little more defensive. And let's just think this through. So, again, Malians have more early game flexibility. All their wood buildings are discounted by 15%. So their lumber camp, their houses, everything, that all adds up, especially as the game goes on. Sicilians, they have more food on their farms after they get their farm upgrades. So that's not a Dark Age bonus. And then their TCs and their castles build a bit faster, which you could see as economic in some sense, I guess, at least the TCs. And then again, it's that it's really hard to counter their units. Now, Dave told me Sicilians are top 5. And as I just said a few moments ago, I'm going to use some stats to back it up. And I think Sicilians are like 30% win rate. Now, again, I'm picking stats where it matters for my opinions, you know? I literally just said that the Viking win rate doesn't mean that Vikings didn't get worse, you know? So, I'm being choosy. I can do that as a caster. I build up this community so I could be biased. But the way I see it is, TaToH needs to get into a position where he can just outmass in military. If he does not, this could be horrible for him. T90, you're coming off as dumb when you talk like no one's opinion matters except yours. Dude, if you don't understand sarcasm and you don't understand that I'm actually I actually understand that person's opinion, I can't do anything. I'm sorry. And now I'm just being mean. But you did call me dumb, I suppose. I feel like we had a fine conversation. John Chess understands the situation. I showed both sides. I clearly said I had a bias. We should be fine. Everything's good. TaToH's come back home with this scout. Check this out. So TaToH sees that Liereyy is just lurking around to go for the lame. So TaToH came back home with his scout, and he went with 3 on wood. So it looks like it's going to be a scout build. Over here, we have had 3 on wood for Liereyy, but he also can make that barracks with 3 on wood, whereas with Sicilians, you probably can't justify that. That is an underrated play with Malians. You can still go man-at-arms with them. You can still afford to make the barracks at 19 pop at the proper time if you go 3 on wood. I think the first person I ever saw do that, and it's a really small thing, but I think the first person I ever saw do that was Viper. And I forget the year that Malians were introduced, but I think it was 20... Was it 17? God, there's been so many expansions. It wouldn't have been Forgotten Empires in 2015. African Kingdoms might have come out in like 2016, 2017. Anyways, it was the first player I ever saw do that, and I was like, wow, it's actually pretty sick. And we don't see a lot of players do that with Malians nowadays. To this day, they still go 4 on wood for man-at-arms. But Lierey's going to open scouts anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it's quite nice, you know? You don't even need to have as much on wood now. Instead of having 9 or 10 on wood, you could just go for 8 on wood if you wanted to. It just feels weird to see the walls and the way everything's situated right now, and it's just so closed, so cramped. Not sure what build would be better here, but I think players are going to play it extremely safe, as you probably should when the maps are closed off and it's a game 5. Sarcasm is a joy for life. Now, I think it's really tricky. Well, first off, I also can't tell if someone's joking in a chat or comment unless they make the sarcasm clear, right? That's tricky for a commentator to know. It could be possible that someone's being sarcastic and I don't know. I would like to think I'm pretty good with that, but I'm not perfect. And then also, like, the way people display sarcasm in their tone is different everywhere, right? And it could be where you're from. It could just be who you are as a person. So I have to do a better job of accounting for that. Also, at the same time, like, I'm also at a point in my career where if you don't accept me for my flaws, and if you show up to a stream and start getting upset with me and complaining, I don't want anyone to leave. But realistically, if I'm bad at what I do, maybe I'm not the caster for you. So, you know, constructive criticism is good, but I'm also going to do my thing. Okay, we have a pause now. Now, again, I just said, okay, TaToH was lagging. I just said how there's not a lot of potential to do damage. TaToH, if you were to click behind here, if he click, no. Okay, he clicks behind here, he could kill that villager. This is huge because TaToH might not take any damage at home. Sicilian's OP, people. Sicilian's OP, and it looks like they've just come back. You can see the lag was there. Really bad time for a pause, but Liereyy should have had time to maybe save this. And he's going to try and quick wall. He's pulled over another villager, which could be in another death. Oh my god, at what point do you just have to cut your losses, Liereyy? Holy crap, Sicilians. Well, the villager shouldn't die. The villager the villager will die. The villager won't die. The villager might die. The villager is going to die. Oh, what a doinker from TaToH. That is so tilting if you're Liereyy. Oh my god, that is so tilting. Wow. So the starting scout, people. The starting scout, and that was so good from TaToH to dodge that TC fire. Granted, he did take some hits and get the second kill. The starting scout kills 2 villagers, and now TaToH just has to defend. Sicilians get more food on their farms. Literally just make spearmen. You don't even need to make scouts. He didn't even make a stable. I would be really frustrated. Granted, Liereyy has to understand that potential. And normally what happens if you're going to do this, you're going to wall and feudal age. You have your own scout there to protect the Vil. So it's kind of like novice stuff for Liereyy to have that be a possibility for TaToH. But sheesh, this is a good spot right now, man. The only exposed area at TaToH's base is the berries. He's got 3 spearmen. And by the time Liereyy might even think about getting a range out, I think TaToH will be sitting pretty with a lot of food here. TaToH can take his gold on the back. And Lierey's going to try and run through. Look at this. He's trying to bait the spearmen to go different directions. Just don't think it's going to work out. Minus 7k. And moderator who's in chat, I agree. Not an actual channel moderator, but it's actually been a really good series, man. And Lierey's just thinking, God, I can't lose the series because of that. I can't lose the series because of that. Especially after bringing it back. You've got to be kidding me. But no, there's just not much he can do. And he's going to try and run through here. And oh, no way. No way. He's going to try and run through and now he could get some kills. Oh, wait a second. Oh, big mistakes from both players. Okay, the spearman's going to come through. I think if Liereyy gets 1 Vil pick, he'll be happier about this. He doesn't necessarily need to feel like he needs to. But what he can do is he can stay in here and annoy TaToH for a long time. And that'll pay off. So he's delaying the market there. He now knows that TaToH's going to go for the market. I expect TaToH will actually sell his stone. That villager's going to run back. I'm a little surprised that Liereyy didn't commit to 1 Vil yet. I still think that it's the correct move to keep your scouts alive so you can do more damage. There you go. Gets a Vil. And still he's going to idle some farms running around. And yeah, Lierey's recovered. The worker efficiency has definitely been higher for Liereyy over the last few moments. Continue to run around and continue to be annoying. And TaToH, I think he's got to bring... I guess he doesn't want to bring this spearman over because Liereyy will just end up running over there anyways. But maybe this spearman. I guess he always has to believe that there could be more scouts coming out, though. That villager's very weak. TaToH quick walls it. Well done. And what's interesting is TaToH went for the market, but he didn't actually sell anything yet. I think he'll sell 100. But normally if you go market, you're going to sell some of your stone. That's what you see at a high level anyways. That villager has a death wish. He gets attacked. TaToH garrisons. Liereyy just running around. And now Lierey's going to say, hey, thanks for the visit, bro. Thanks for the visit. Here I come. He's going to get another vill. What? That should have been a dead vill. I don't know why he repositioned. He was on the back side of the vill. He was blocking the vill from going to the TC. That should have been a vill kill. Okay, anyways. TaToH was late to his second building. We still have a very competitive game here. It did not feel like it could have been if TaToH would have been able to play a little safer, but... This is why people always full wall to their TC, because scouts can always run through. You see that an awful lot nowadays. Yeah, George, Sicilians start with 300 stone. They do. I think they did that... Whoa, I'm sorry, I misclicked there. I think they did that to incentivize donjon play, but ultimately, there's another hole there. Oh, okay. Yeah, ultimately, I just don't think that it really incentivizes donjon play. What it does lead them to do at times is to just boom, because they build their TCs really fast. So that can be really helpful. Liereyy must be cold. It's -5 degrees in Austria. Is it cold in Europe right now? It's 75 degrees Fahrenheit outside where I live, so can't say I can relate. I'm sure he's got some heat, you know, he should be fine. Interesting that TaToH's adding scouts. I think what he's expecting is monks here. So he's actually added 2 scouts and getting bloodlines. And I like this because if Malians make camels, they don't feel as good about it against Sicilian Knights because Sicilian Knights resist bonus damage. So what you can do is you can make monks. And that resistance of bonus damage does not mean resistance on conversions, like the Teuton bonus, for example, right? So I think this is a good approach from TaToH because he can have scouts out there for any monks. And you do see a monastery opening for Liereyy and a TC. He's going to be making knights. Kind of like the previous game where he opened with knights because he felt like maybe camels wouldn't do something right away. Good decision. Good decision. No second TC for TaToH off the bat. He's going to go for a monastery of his own. Again, he's got so much food in his farms. And this essentially ends up being a wood bonus. Because if you don't have to reseed your farms as frequently, then you save a lot of wood, which can be used for other things like monasteries and TCs. Now watch this. Lierey's been building this with 2 villagers. Here you have TaToH. He's going to start building his TC with 3 like a minute later. And watch the difference. This is at 70%. This is at 30%. Oh, God. You're kidding me. Liereyy! Oh, the little mistakes. Oh, and the TC might not even go up. Oh, this is huge. No way. It's a 94%. It's a doubt TC. Oh, my God. And TaToH's TC will go up. That's at 99.1% and your -3 villagers. He was fine. He had the palisade wall, and he deleted it so he could fit the 3rd villager there. Meanwhile, though, he did dive here, so it's been going crazy on the other side. As TaToH quick gates to trap that knight in to convert it, and you see it deleted. Now TaToH has to save the monk, and he does. Woo! Crazy couple moments there. You know, sometimes when those things happen, it's because there's nonsense going on the other side. So, overall, it looks like TaToH killed 3 villagers. And he lost 1. And also, he made Liereyy delete a knight, so that's not too bad. Now, TaToH needs to send his monk out. He also needs to make sure this is walled up. That has been a thorn in his side. But it's still manageable for Liereyy. Sloppy, but definitely still manageable. But just remember what I said about Sicilians. If you're not ahead against Sicilians, Sicilians could definitely do well against you. You know the other thing? I'm not sure if Liereyy spotted all those scouts. I think he spotted 1 additional scout, but I don't think he thought a weak scout and a full HP scout could kill those vills. So he's protecting this area. He actually needs a little bit more on wood here. That's a big issue for Liereyy. What sucks about the King of the Desert Arabia is that it's really hard to TC your resources. So TaToH can't really TC this gold, or the stone. So I don't know where you'd even place it, so maybe it's not even a good idea to go for it. I guess you could say the same thing for Liereyy. I mean, he can TC the stone, he can TC the gold. Yeah, he already TC'd his second gold, so I mean, Leary's definitely in a better spot when it comes to town centers. All right. We'll see some conversions here. We'll see quite a few conversions if Liereyy wants to engage. But same could be said on the other side. But the monks aren't really moving out right now for Liereyy. He's staying at home. Okay, TaToH sees this. Liereyy thinks there's one monk out here. Now he knows there's two. And now he's like, crap. This is not good. Because he wanted to kill one monk. But now that he knows there's two out there. So you could lose half your army. And there's potential if Liereyy doesn't have his own monks here that he might not get away with anything. That should be at least one conversion for TaToH. Oh, it's so close. Okay, Liereyy runs further away into the corner. 3 knights now for Liereyy as he's going to send in knights over here. I think TaToH's looking for the monks with the scouts. TaToH is just ahead. He was faster to his town centers. I feel like it all stems from feudal age and late feudal age, right? At starting scout killing 2 villagers, there's 3 scouts denying and delaying the TC and killing a few more. Oh boy, have you ever seen Liereyy make so many monks though? Woo, this is gonna be fun, man. Check it out. Okay, TaToH sees that. So TaToH knows he needs to be careful. That's actually a lot of army. You've got 5 monks against 4 monks, but TaToH's monks are all kind of split up right now. He is getting some relics. And here he comes with some knights now, TaToH, but we'll see if he can make it out of here. The monks for Liereyy are actually pulling back, so TaToH's going to be... Oh, he's kind of blocked in here. He's got to be super careful and get out of here as we now see the light cav upgrade. I love the light cav upgrade. I think that's such a good decision. We don't see it as frequently on Arabia as we maybe should. Light cav counter the monks. But TaToH lost some crucial numbers there. And now it's 22 army versus 21, but... that could always change based on the number of conversions. Here comes Liereyy. Looking around. Sees a knight. That's a throw from TaToH. Oh, he can get away with it, though. Okay. Now the light cav come in. Liereyy has to back away. He's going to try and block with his knights, which he will do. 1 monk goes down. I don't know if that's worth it for TaToH. He lost all of his light cav there. But then again, TaToH starts conversions, and Liereyy didn't start his conversions yet. No way! Liereyy might not get many conversions here, guys. It all comes down to the monk RNG. And I look at the HP here. It still looks like it could be better for Liereyy, actually. What is happening? It is better for Liereyy. Liereyy has 1 more upgrade. TaToH doesn't have the monk numbers anymore. TaToH has a 20 villager lead, though. It's not quite 20. You also have a monk over here. Actually, who's winning this fight? It feels like if TaToH had 3 more knights, he'd be fine right now. Maybe he just backs away for a second, brings out a monk, brings out a few more knights, and then he's fine. Yep, he's fine. And he could also heal up as well. That's what hurts if you're Liereyy. You know there's some weak ones in there that you can't finish off. What's weird to me is how is there such a big difference with Vills when it's been 2 TCs for both? Look at the idle TC time. I mean, TaToH's had more on food, which helps you produce villagers and knights at the same time. But I think Liereyy just hasn't been producing out of his TCs all the time. Like, look, idle TC. Idle TC. Because he has his stables queued up all the time, right? Okay, there's the monk. TaToH's going to protect that monk and fight on the hill, which is so good. Gets the conversion and now can just run away. But nah, I think he should take this fight. Yeah, just take it. Take it. You can just convert that knight right back if you have to. You end up killing the monk. And what's key here is TaToH isn't losing his monks. What's key here is TaToH can fit a TC there. It's just crazy. I think this is TaToH's game to lose at this point. Just think about the small execution moments in this game. Starting scout killing villagers. Scouts then denying the town center. Now we're talking about idle TC time. And army production and monk production. TaToH has done a better job with all the basics of the game. Also mixing into light cap, you know, he's been able to afford that. He's going to run out, have some confidence now. And Liereyy should know, based on the score, that going for a third TC... Actually, did he do that? No, he didn't. Going for a third TC would be a mistake here. I think he must realize that TaToH is ahead in eco as he tries to protect this monk. Here he comes with some knights. If he could find a hole, that'd be good, but TaToH could react to that. TaToH didn't kill the monk. He's trying. Here comes Liereyy, though. This is not a spot to go. Oh, God. One. Maybe more conversions as Liereyy runs away. Yeah, so Lierey's going to make more monks. Lierey's going to aim to make more knights, and he's just going to try. But you've got to be as aggressive as possible here. But every time he runs in, TaToH's got monks. Every single time, TaToH's got enough there. At this point, if you're TaToH, you just keep your monastery queued up with monks, you keep your stables queued up with knights, and you don't lose this game. Obviously, you still have to convert and patrol and create vills and do all the other stuff. But I mean, with the way the economies are shaping up, it should be the case that TaToH will be able to deal with whatever Liereyy throws his way. Check this out, though. Liereyy is going to go over here. And I think TaToH knows that. And at the same time, Lierey's going to go over here. TaToH! 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 Oh, God, he's going to lose all the monks there. Liereyy has a chance. Liereyy has a chance. He's forcing good reactions. TaToH's playing defensive, and now TaToH doesn't have anything on the hill. Don't tell me TaToH's going to throw this game. We have armor on the way now, so knights with armor can fight underneath the TCs. And here, Lierey's going to peel off a few knights, and this is so good from Liereyy because he's able to take a very good fight here due to these 3 knights distracting the rest of the group from TaToH. Not a bad fight for Liereyy. He's got more army running forward. Are you kidding me? This is going to be non-stop. TaToH focuses down the monk there. A +2 armor is about to come in. And TaToH doesn't have the military anymore. What? Like, it still feels like he should win it. But he doesn't have as big a vill lead anymore. And the idle time is insane. Oh, my God. What is happening here, guys? It all comes down to production for Liereyy. Forget about vill count. Obviously, create vills. That's great. But production. Keep producing monks and sending them forward. As he gets a conversion there, keep producing knights and keep TaToH off of that gold. TaToH is soon going to be out of gold. He needs this gold and he needs this gold. What are we witnessing right now? And honestly, with the amount of villagers that Liereyy has killed as well, Liereyy, and I feel like I jinxed TaToH and we'll get to that. Liereyy could be in a position where the eco's relatively even soon too. Man, TaToH. Like I said, all he needed was to just keep his knights queued and keep his monks alive. Keep producing the monks. And then he stopped producing monks. He lost his monks. And then his army was brought out of position. And knights with +2 armor can take out TCs no problem. It'll take a while, but you can take out the TCs. And all Lierey's doing is paying attention to his monks right now. He knows that TaToH's probably going to make light cap. He knows that TaToH has to engage now. And so he's waiting for it. And TaToH's waiting for it. Here we go. He's got to get conversions here. The light cav go in. How many conversions come in? These are the numbers. As it stands, Liereyy has a lot more HP on the map. He didn't get the conversions that he wanted necessarily, but I still think he's going to win the fight. He's still going to win the fight. He still has monks coming forward. 72 villagers for 78. Liereyy has brought it back. What in the world is this game? The gold is such an issue for TaToH right now. He's almost out of his gold, people. He could make a market. He could sell wood. Holy crap. And by the way, this is why we love Arabia. While we do have high expectations for players, and some TaToH fans might say that TaToH's made a mistake here, and maybe that's fair. This is why we love Arabia, because open maps can allow for this type of a thing. TaToH's not loving that gold right now, I can tell you that much. Look at the worker efficiency last minute at the bottom left. That is simply due to the fact that TaToH has idols everywhere. Look at this. These villagers, it's a family gathering. They're taking a day off. Whereas everyone else is at work right now. I think this game could be over. The score doesn't show it. Ah, no, it's still too close. It's still too close, and TaToH with the light cap kills one monk. He'll peel off more light cav to get more kills, but now he can't fit in the TC. Holy crap. TaToH will lose the villager lead. But if he can gain the army lead back, that's his only chance now. Can he do it? Can he engage against these knights? He needs to kill these right now. And the stats are telling me that he can. Granted here, he's not going to get a kill on that monk. Liereyy has more numbers. Liereyy has more numbers. Lierey's going to do this. Liereyy, get a conversion here. Wow, dude. I mean, my heart is broken watching this because I know how much this means to TaToH, and I also know like, how big the stakes are right here. It is the group stage. It's not like whoever loses this game is out, but whoever wins the group moves on to a better position for the later stages of the tourney, which will matter so much. And I think TaToH's just so mentally rattled now, it's almost impossible to come back in this type of a game. Like, what should happen is that Liereyy just runs circles around him now. And you're starting to see it. He's going to run in over here. At the same time, you'll see a lot of blue running forward on the other side. TaToH, though, gets in. So some counter damage. Completely off of this gold. TaToH's got a lot of stone income and an opportunity to respond and react here as he's down 20 pop. Army control, guys. So good from Liereyy. Do you remember when he peeled off to the side here with his group? That was so good, man. Because it distracted TaToH, so TaToH couldn't focus on the hill anymore. And the rest is history. Liereyy even sold his stone. He's been on 2 TCs. He knew. I've got to pressure this guy. I've got to kill him. TaToH's going to add another town center, which tells me that he can still recover. But I just don't know if he can afford to make knights right now. He cannot afford to make knights right now. And if you cannot afford to make knights, and the knights have armor, the knights will continually run underneath your TC. And you can't even wall at this stage. And TaToH calls it! Holy crap, what a comeback that was. That was beautiful. In fact, we need to go back to that moment and talk about this, because TaToH should have won this game. TaToH should have won this game. Okay, that was not the fight we're looking for. It's a little bit later on. Okay, right here. Check this out. You ready to see some sick Age of Empires? I mean, you just saw it. You just saw it, but I'm going to show you again how brilliant this is. This is a learning tool, right? If things aren't going well and it feels like you're just banging your head against a wall, go somewhere else. Switch the position. So Liereyy, he knows at this point. I think he recognizes that he needs really good fights. Otherwise, he's going to lose the game. TaToH's just waiting for him. So what Liereyy starts to do is Liereyy peels off a few knights. Excuse me, I think this actually happened a little later. But since that's the conclusion of the series, this is actually a good example of what Liereyy started to do. 4 knights here, 4 knights here. Forcing reactions from TaToH. TaToH garrisons. TaToH reacts. All right, Liereyy says, all right, his army seems to be over here. So let's maybe try and take a fight. No, we can't do that. You see how TaToH's just sitting at home? Just sitting at home, as you should if you have the lead. Okay, so now, last TaToH saw, the army was here. Now he's waiting for it, and he doesn't exactly see it. And now he starts to track it, and now this is where it's so easy to make mistakes. Because at the exact second that Liereyy shows himself over here, which is so freaking sick, dude. And he will kill 3 monks, 300 gold down the drain, and everything starts to fall apart. I think there's an argument for TaToH to maybe have had at least armor, like maybe the Castle Age armor. Getting +2 armor was huge for Liereyy, but even at this stage, TaToH still is in a pretty solid position. He's still at 77 vills with 23 army. So you would think that, maybe he could bring that back. Poof. Moritz says, why didn't TaToH stonewall the sides? He's got 3 TCs pumping vills. He has to place farms. He's producing monks all the time. He is producing knights all the time. If you're producing knights out of 4 stables and you're macroing out of 3 TCs and you're producing monks and you're controlling those armies, stonewalling the sides is not really, it's not really possible. Another thing is you don't have stone at that stage, right? And you're not just going to mine stone for some eventual stone walls when you have the army. If it was a straight up fight, TaToH's going to be able to win those fights. Liereyy just switched the position. So the thing you need to say about TaToH, beyond the walling, because I understand how at mid or low elo, you maybe have the resources or time to wall. The big thing here is that if TaToH forces fights when he has the lead, it's different. He was sitting back too much. If he runs forward with his mask, guys, if he forces a reaction from Liereyy, then at some point Liereyy needs to respect that. So I don't think TaToH should have mixed in Pikes. I think Knight and Monk was fine. He had a 20 villager lead and he could always create more, but it was just so sick from Liereyy to somehow find a way. There were games in this series where we said that players made mistakes. I think that if anything, that's just exceptional play from Liereyy, and TaToH maybe needs to do a little better. More food, more wood. Liereyy had more gold, which certainly helps with Malians, right? You do get more gold. Nowadays, they changed it. It used to be the mining camp upgrade for gold was free, and now the gold just lasts longer. That was also a comeback for Liereyy, and you could see that speed. I know people love that APM, how it was utilized there. TaToH is going to be gutted, dude. TaToH is going to be gutted. He was up 2-0 in this series. Liereyy completes the reverse sweep. And if I'm not mistaken, what that means is that Liereyy now moves on out of the group, as people expected him to. But TaToH's looking good, man. So TaToH will still stay alive. He'll still move on in King of the Desert. He'll have to play another set in the group stage. Liereyy will be sitting pretty and feeling really, really good about things.